of his monastic order. The student robes that he wears represents what he still has to relearn in this life before becoming a teacher to his people again. While his meditation upon the cyclical nature of ki and shadowboxing have always persisted in his life, his path has taken a fork in the recent days.
Unmute
After getting arrested
and
in a mistaken
transition. Bada bing, bada boom. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the stream. It is great to have you. I'm sure that you can see there are some aesthetic differences here. As beautiful as the people in the Salamander Coast are, look at that awesome character art that is now there in place of their faces. If it gives you any solace, if you're really upset about it, they can still see each other, so they can still look deep into their webcam and roleplay hard with that. But for the stream, I decided it was best to keep everything the same across all platforms and make sure that the Salamander Coast, the Explorers of Ephera, and the Isles of Avarion are all at the same place. So, that out of the way, welcome, for one. My name is Joe, and I am your Dungeon Master on Roll with Advantage. And I cannot tell you just how excited I am for today's session, but as always, I just want to give a quick shout out to our wonderful artists all over the Instagrams, which we can go ahead and drop that command in the chat. I believe that is it. Yep. So we have Lisa, who did the character art for the Isles of Avarion, the thumbnail art. Then we have Gemma, who did the character art for the Isles of Avarion characters and the merchandise art for Bianca, which is wonderful. And then finally, the art that you can see all around us here was done by Andy Romanchek on Instagram. Go follow all of those people. Ask them to make you things because they all have a very different and unique style, all three of them. And all three of them are very, very worth it. They're some of my top tier favorite people. Then again, everybody I play D&D with is my top tier favorite person. They're all just one collective being that I can
invite Andy to play D&D.
The Hive.
That would be awesome.
Mentality.
But yeah, so that is that. And I don't think does anybody have anything they'd like to add? Anything that I'm maybe forgetting? Or are we good?
I mean, I'm feeling
Gucci.
pretty spiffy.
All right.
Good.
Oh, well, Mark J. Judge, I did that forever ago in order to get her video in the right place, but so I can't change it now or else it would mess everything up. But for next time, I will remember to change it back to Bianca, not the Bianca, as if you're saying her name, the Bianca, with a funny accent. So, if there is nothing else, I believe
I think
we
we just need to refer to her as the Bianca instead.
The Bianca.
Less ever
Bianca. Okay, well, I think with on that note, let's roll that intro and get into it. Alrighty, and hello, we are back. Also, Lisa, I see you in the chat. You have no room to talk because you don't even own Sea of Thieves, so you don't even know what it's like. So stay out of this, all right? I love you.
I feel like
stay out of it.
Who is the best sailor in this group? We need to decide that real quick.
Oh, it's Connor.
I think it's Connor. Yeah,
it's
you.
Wrong. It's not. No, I don't think you're good, but I think you're the best. What makes me the best? What have I done? You were in Peter and the Starcatcher. You had to do all the boat words.
I know. I was the kids. We were stowaways.
Listen. I can drink rum and sing sea shanties, but like the actual work part, I don't know about that.
Wait, Cameron, you were a Boy Scout, so don't you know?
What? Yeah, I had the canoeing badge. I think.
Yeah, well, I guess all three of us were Boy Scouts, so
you guys should know not
Boy
time.
Scout. I canoed and kayaked. Woo.
Hell yeah! The only
All
thing
of us
Peter does with a boat in
combined
that show is
the
crash
best.
one. So
Okay.
Okay, so
cool.
it's Mark.
Well,
All right, we're done.
I think it's me because of the fish ponds, which has taken a backseat in my life over the past couple of years. But
All right, that's fair.
We'll
let Cameron.
Cameron, you're it. You're the chief. You're the guy. All right. So with that,
the chief of the boat.
I think with that we should really get started now. Ooh, okay. Alrighty. So here we go. So last we had left off, these group of adventurers, the runaways, as they have taken to calling themselves and as they have been called by others now, had found themselves in the very beginning of this journey within the grasp of the Fisher estate. Not Orwin or Rose, the two nicer of the Fisher trio. No, they found themselves within the grasp of Brennan Fisher, the, well, least kind of the three, and seemingly the most aggressive and manipulative. So the party, after working job after job after job, and eventually winning the Harvest Inn tourney in the month of Hearthfire, they win the tourney, and they were able to ask one thing of the Fisher estate, and what they decided to ask was for their freedom. They decided to ask that their contract be removed, and the 5 of them be allowed to pursue any other contracts, to go anywhere they want, and not have to worry about the Fisher estate. Rose and Orwin, of course, were more than happy to concede, as that is how things work, and even Brennan himself, although he did try one last blasé attempt at trying to convince all of you to stay, he seemed not to be bothered by it either. Business is business, you would hear him say. So with that, your contract broken, those legal weights lifted off of you, you now had the choice to go wherever you wanted, whenever you wanted. So there were a lot of questions all of you had surrounding the cult of the Dark One, and surrounding some of your own past, your presence, and what you plan to do in the future. And it seemed like the best place that you could go to find out any of these questions would be one of two places. Either A, the capital of Bella Clara, Belka, hometown of Bianca, and Rivers Pass, which is home to the mages' re-education facility in Bella Clara. Luckily, those two places are right next to each other. In fact, in order to get to Belka, you have to stop at Rivers Pass first. So, with that in mind, you packed up your bags, and although your friend you had made in the very beginning and who had helped carry you along, while Powassa Anoa, a Water Genasi paladin, the Oath of Glory, while he had other things that he needed to tend to, a calling that had been given to him by his ancestors, he promised you he would be back. And who knows? He could be back any day now. So, you all, with that information, you decide to leave, headed that way. However, the issue is, you're one person light. You don't really have anyone you could go and talk to as the normal people. Hubert or Belvedere, they had things that they needed to do in Summer's Rest. But there was one, a person you met at the party that night before you decided to leave. A Keothi Anakalathai, a Goliath from the Western Salamander. A very soft yet loud-spoken individual. She is odd for a Goliath, as she carries really no weapons on her, nothing that visible, and on top of that, she is growing this very long locks of brown hair. The party, taking a liking to her, the 4 of you, you decide that it might be best for her to accompany you. She also is looking around Bella Clara for history and exploring, and she just wants to adventure and discover. So, it seems like a perfect match. Someone who's not really searching for anything, just searching to find anything at all. So, with that, the 4 party members who are here, and one very large sometimes too talkative Goliath, you head out. You pack your cart up with anything and everything you could possibly need for at least 2 weeks, and you begin your travels south. So, with that, your travel begins. Leaving the gates of Summer's Rest behind you, you begin to descend down the cliffside, which is a journey that all of you are very familiar with. However, the last time you made this journey, you carried with you the weight of Thomas. And you all carry with you the hope in your heart that if you ever have the chance again, you will prevent something like that from happening. The snow piles up on the cliff sides to your left and on the evergreen trees to your right. The snow gives you an issue every once and a while, but it's nothing too serious. All of you are in no rush, you simply taking your time. Now leaving at dawn, at about the time when you finally get everything together, you can tell that the roads are, you can see very clearly the roads are, well, they're very empty. There's barely anybody on them. Now, the one thing that all of you can definitely recognize is that back when you were here about a month and a half ago, there were always guards patrolling up and down when you descended on that morning. But now you're honestly very lucky to see anybody at all. Now, you travel down the road that leads down the mountain for about 2 to 3 hours before you even see another person. And you see that person at the same fire pit that the 3 youngest party members were attacked by what feels like years ago. As you ride past that fire pit, you can see 2 fur-clad tents nestled next to each other that are right next to a fire that's just smoldering embers. And you can see, as you pass, that there is a small child with shaggy blonde hair and pointed ears that pokes their head out of the tent and begins to stare at you. And you can tell that they are marveling at the 5 of you. Which, I mean, yeah, a human teenage girl who seems to have magic cling to her. A halfling wearing the oddest clothes imaginable for the people of Bella Clara. A Goliath who stands about 8 feet tall with flowing brown hair. A purple tiefling armed to the T, and a bronze dragonborn. All in one cart. At that moment, all of you, barring maybe Keothi, realize how strange the collective of you are. But you continue to move until you make your way to the temple that exists directly between Water's Wake and Summer's Rest. That takes you another 2 to 3 hours, so it is about, let's see, you left at about 7 a.m., 6, 7 a.m., so it's probably about noon by now. So you make your way all the way down at about noon, and you can see that upon arrival to the Temple of the Basin, you can see all of those open air, shrines and temples have been fitted with fur and leather coverings. Scattered throughout the area, there are 5 different large canopies that have several fireplaces underneath each one of them, with other tents that are set up and stirring with life. Travelers making lunch for their families and the others around them. There are small merchants peddling their wares. And you can see guards patrolling around the temple area in thick fur-insulated armor. So, as you descend down the cliffside, this first leg of the journey, one that you've made many times before, goes rather smoothly. So, you descend down into the temple district, right before you can head south towards Belka or go east towards Port Alexei, where you had headed before, chasing after Adam, Christina, and Thomas. But you get to the temple district, and the choice is yours. Where are you going?
What time is it? You said again?
It's probably about noon, 1 p.m. around there, right around lunchtime.
All right, cool.
So let me go ahead and move you guys here, just so you can have a better idea.
Yeah.
And move everybody.
So we're
There we go.
yeah.
Yeah, you
That's
guys.
the temple, right?
Yep. You're right there.
I'm pinging.
Mhm.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, I don't think Cecily has any interest in having the soup again. She's eating better now. So
Yeah.
We're too good for the soup.
We're level 3.
Hey.
Yeah. Your palette upgrades with level. Yeah, I'll leave it up to the
That's
rest
how
of the group.
society works.
And the choice is to go south or east.
Yeah, so if you wanted to, say, catch a boat to Belka, you could do that. Or you could just head straight south and take your cart all the way down through the Evergreen Expanse and then through the foothills and then eventually past the Old Kingdom. But that is entirely up to you. So you're at the crossroads right now. Or you could go west to Water's Wake, see if you could find a way through the mountains.
Well, sounds so fun.
No.
Nope. We did that once.
That's where I will step in and say no.
Well, we kind of... I mean, will we be able to take our cart on the boat? Probably not. We kind of were prepared for land travel. But if there's a good...
bought so much stuff.
Yeah.
And we got the Red Skinner thing, possibly. And the Gulp thing, possibly, at the Giant's Foot. So, like...
Yeah,
like, that's our plate.
and I'm
I'm not
So
so
it's either we-
tempted.
I guess the question is, do we want to hit Belka first or Giant's Foot or Giant's Bridge first?
That's a good
Well,
I
point.
mean, we could
we
always
go-
hit Belka first and then back.
Right.
Would take
But that
more.
would be going backwards instead of just straight down to Rivers Pass then. So it probably would take longer than just to go in an S.
Yeah.
So we might as well just do land travel then? Is
Yeah,
that what we're saying?
I would think so. I'm not too tempted by seafaring to put off the possible urgency of figuring out what's going on there.
Yeah, I was about to
Yeah.
second that, or that myself.
At some point, though, we must seafare. You know, I mean, maybe months from
Boat
now, maybe a year
campaign.
from now. Boat campaign.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
that will
I'm
be-
sorry.
Bay
That, yeah,
Budge.
that
We can
spot's
do
been
that
taken.
right
I'm
after
sorry.
we're done in Rivers Pass, because then we can just head back to Belka and get on a boat. Like, that's really easy.
Yes, from Belka we have many options of where to sail.
Right.
Yeah.
South
Yeah,
on land it is, I think.
Alrighty.
Okay,
For a
very.
while.
Yeah. Probably cheaper, technically, too.
And that's, I forgot about boats. That's why I was prepared for land.
Yeah. We also definitely just
Yeah, we
bought this nicer cart and all of these tents. And granted, I know it would take a little while to travel to get to a boat, but still.
Yeah.
I say
And
land.
our
you know.
horses.
Land ho.
They belong to us now. They're family.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's got the
Reggie
horse
and, I don't
name?
know.
Our horse's
Reginald and
name Benet.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
Ben-Nay.
Oh,
and
God.
Nay.
Oh,
Not
Ben-Nye.
Benny, but Ben-Yay, but for the...
But Benny to keep it simple, and they're a they.
Benny, Benyay, and Benet all at the same time.
Benny, Benyay, Benet. Yeah.
The third.
Then, yeah. Okay, that's
All right, let's
stupid.
cart it up.
South.
Cart it up
South it is.
Alrighty. Old underline. There we go. Yeah, let's not. I don't want to forget the horses' names.
Is
did
there
your guys'
anything we'll stop at the temple for, though, or are we moving?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys were gonna stop.
Because
to
I'm
eat
good.
Or
We don't need their charity. We got ration.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Bianca doesn't like churches,
Just
so
throwing
she
it out
will
there.
not suggest it.
I think in general it might be a good idea to just put as much distance between us and Summer's Rest as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like you guys stole anything.
Right?
Let's run. Let's just go.
Desmond, Cecily.
I enjoy how quiet Cameron was being.
What do you have in your pocket? What do you have in your pocket? But no, I think, I mean, the reason why we left in such a rush to get away from the cult, I think that while we have no shortage of friends in Summer's Rest, I don't think we have a shortage of enemies either.
I agree.
Further away we get,
I'm just
I think,
anxious to hit new towns, to be honest.
Yeah, we've
new
seen
towns.
it.
All right.
I say we keep riding.
Landho.
Let's keep riding for a little bit. We can stop to eat when we pitch our tents.
Yeah, we
and
can
then
do like
snack
another
on the
hour
way.
or two, late lunch at like a good 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
McDonald's.
We have McDonald's at home.
Wait, everyone use the bathroom before we get back on the road.
God.
I don't want to
Are we
stop.
there
This
yet?
part of the campaign has
Ashima, are we
begun.
there yet?
Oh, this is rough.
We're gonna play a game. Every time you see a billboard in this medieval fantasy world, you have to say it, and you can't say anything else until you see it.
I
Perfect.
say we look at every cart's license plate and see if we can find all of the different, areas of Joe's world on the license plates
Oh, Rhode Island. You don't see those very
of the
often.
carts.
All right. Okay.
That's not his state.
All right. I'm gonna end this bit, and we're gonna continue with the game. Okay. So all of you take in the surrounding area of the Temple of the Basin, right in between Water's Wake and Summer's Rest. But you decide, after God knows how many deviations, that maybe we should just continue on, and then maybe have a late lunch later. Definitely not at a McDonald's or something. Okay, so you settle back on the cart, and you begin to descend southward, deciding to stick with the land, especially since you bought this nice cart and all that. Okay, so as you begin to descend southward, the journey is, I mean, so far it's been fairly easy going. You've been traveling for, 6-7 hours at this point, and it's been peaceful this entire time that you've been on the road. Now that you're breaking away from Summer's Rest and you're now on the in the Evergreen Expanse, bordering on the Deadwood, there are carts moving up and down the road next to you, giving you friendly nods and smiles. There are guards that patrol. Every once in a while, they just ride on by, and there is one guard who lets you know and says, excuse me, I don't mean to bother you, and who would be driving the cart right now? Who's steering?
Probably Ashima. That'd be my bet.
I'll go ahead and I'll drive.
Okay.
I'll
All right. Excuse me, sir. I was wondering if I could borrow just a minute of your time.
But of course.
I just
want
want
to
to...
give assistance.
Oh, there's nothing you can do for me in particular, but I just wanted to let you know that there is a stop up a ways, probably about an hour. And I do want to let you know that that's going to be your only stop for about 6 or 7. So I would just recommend we don't patrol as much during the evening. So for your safety, I recommend stopping there. There's camping areas there for you, and plus there's a guard tower as well. So protection, and also, just so there's no confusion, there will be a small fee when you do pass through. But that's to keep us patrolling the roads like we're doing. So I just wanted to give you a heads up that was coming in front of you, all right?
Thank you, sir. We do appreciate that.
Of course. May the light guide you. And whips the reins, and the 2 guards ride off.
I'll lean back and you all heard that, I presume?
Yeah, Cecily's head is going to pop out of a unusual spot in the cart. And just... You have
There's a
to.
sewer grate that comes. And just...
You have to pay to walk around.
You pay to walk around regardless.
Man, fuck this place.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
whatever.
just Bella Clara.
If we go through the woods, do they charge us?
Well, it's
Can we get a cart through the woods?
correct, Desmond.
All right,
I mean-
fine. Just
And then we risk
Just
losing
throwing
money
out
from
ideas.
thieves and beasts of taking our.
Nah.
I mean, to be honest, I'm not particularly worried about thieves.
I mean, I'm not either, but what we're paying for is protection at the stop.
fine.
However-
Road.
On that
Road.
note, sometimes I think it's not, well, a very good idea to advertise that we can take care of ourselves.
Fair.
Oftentimes, when you do, people go looking for a fight.
And we already have some
So,
bad people on our trail, and if we keep staying in safe places, it's harder for them to get us.
I guess.
So I am sorry to interrupt, but I have something that I would like to ask, if that is all right. As Keothi speaks up.
of course,
Certainly.
Keothi.
Um, sound? Oh, okay. Now we're going. Now we're unmuted too. Whew.
There we go.
Man, that's awesome. Alrighty, cool. There we go. So, we are here. All right, let's get back to it. That was odd. Okay. So,
Keothi says Libertarian Party.
she continues.
Taxation theft.
I do not mean to insult anyone's customs, as I am fully willing to do whatever is necessary to respect one's customs. It is just confusing to me. I was just hoping for some insight. I have read much about Bella Clara, and much about its histories and its peoples, and, well, I never anticipated something this, favorable towards gold and materials. If that makes any sense at all.
Yeah.
Well, plenty.
It's a pretty obnoxious culture.
Well,
Yep.
I don't think that is exactly the right word I would use, but if you feel that way, I suppose those feelings are valid.
Up in it, it's just kind of, you're used to it. But when people are like, yeah, it's so much easier over here, it's just a little frustrating.
Oh yes, I could see how if you were told that this is the easiest way to live, you might be a little frustrated with the results you actually received.
Yeah.
Please, we can continue to move. Although I am all right with the cold, I do not like to stay out in it for long, as she kind of adjusts her fur collar and tightens it a little bit more, pulls up her hood and tightens that more.
Pans back to Desmond, shivering.
He's just absolutely falling apart. Okay.
Bianca puts another blanket on top of Desmond.
Oh, look at that.
Thank you, Bianca.
I hope that helps.
Why in God's name does it get so cold?
Altitude.
Oh, Desmond, if you think this is cold, you should come back to my home sometime. Oh, I don't even know if you would come out the other end. Fully thought you might be an icicle by the time you reach the peaks of the mountains.
Well, I appreciate the offer, but I think I might pass if that's the case.
Oh, okay.
Maybe if it was in a warmer time.
Well, that is the nice
It's
part
snowing.
about home. It is always about the same temperature the entire year.
So you don't have any seasons? It's just one constant season?
Yes, it is typically windy and snowing. However, we do spend most of our time indoors, so that does make things easier. But the cold is not... what is the way to put it?
It doesn't bother you?
No, it bothers me. It bothers me
Oh.
a great deal. But it is seen as less of a burden and more of a way of life. If we can withstand cold and biting winds on a mountain top, if we can withstand the constant badgering of blizzards and of avalanches, well, then we can withstand anything the world may throw at us.
Way to look at it.
We always try to stay on the optimistic side.
Nice.
Well, it's certainly good to have people who share the same mentality, particularly ones who have to deal with a lot more cold. We only have, well, the winter.
Yes, it is rather odd how cold it got. I was arriving in Summer's Rest not but 3 or 4 days ago, and it was warm, to be sure, but now this is very similar to my home most days. It does make me happy to feel like I'm at home, but looking over the ends of her horse down on the ground in the stonework on the road, there are some things that it seems as though do not get better when you leave home. And she grunts more, just kind of looking over at the... What to all of you looks fine. It's not, it's not chef's kiss stonework, but it's not like any of you could tell that from normal stonework anyway. But she definitely has a problem with it. Well, I did not mean to bring a halt. We should continue moving before Desmond... Desmond, are you still alive? Oh no.
I'm hanging in there.
Oh, he's alive. That is good. I was worried. That has happened before with travelers. They come to the mountains and, we have to take them to the Kavoth Olife, and in order to bring them to some state of consciousness. Let us keep going. I apologize for any distractions. I know I can talk a bit too much.
We enjoyed it.
Thank you. If I think of anything else, I will be sure to share it. She kind of perks up a little bit.
Oh.
You'll be all right, Desmond. I find it helps to keep your ears, well, now that I think about it, you could try keeping your ears warm.
I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't really have ears like you do.
That was a bit of my hesitation. Couldn't harm you.
Do lizards lose heat through their ear holes too? Is that a thing?
I don't know.
I don't know. We're gonna say no, or you know what? We'll say yeah. So that way, Ishima's vice doesn't go unwarranted.
Okay. I'm gonna move one of the blankets, the blanket that Bianca put on me, and put it over my head.
You wear
Just snuggle up.
Yeah, it helps a little bit. every once in a while, although you do have lightning breath, lightning is hot, so you can kind of send sparks into your hands and rub them together. Since you're resistant to lightning damage, it warms up a little bit. It's still not amazing, but with Ashima's help, you feel at least a little better. A couple degrees warmer.
I don't feel like I'm going to die. And that's what's important.
It's only when a breeze happens. Like a heavy breeze. That's when you're like, I'm gonna fucking die. And then it goes away and you're like, oh, okay, alright.
Why does the air hurt my face?
We'll be through it soon enough. By a fire warm. Just a little further.
Oh, Desmond, I don't know if this is your type of thing, but when we are growing up in, Tuindila, they tell us that do not imagine the wind as a whip hitting your face that is pain. Imagine them as quick, fast kisses from Arcadia. As I said, I do not know if that is, something you would enjoy anyway, but it has always helped me.
Who,
I'll keep it in mind.
who is that?
You do not know of Arcadia? Do any of you know of Arcadia?
I don't know a lot of shit. They might.
I'm in the same boat as Cecily. Or Cart, I should say.
Well, I will do my best to keep it brief. But many people who still practice the old ways, they observe 4 entities. Not gods, not demons. 4 entities. 1 of fire, 1 of earth, 1 of water, and 1 of air. Arcadia is known as the whipping wind. She is seen as the wind in a sailor's sails, or as the lightning that may strike at the ground.
Oh. Alright, cool. I'll keep that one in mind.
There you go. History can be fun sometimes.
Yeah, once in a while.
Okay. So, with that, conversation trails off just a little bit, and you all begin to head further and further south. So, over the course of these, several hours that you have been on the road, has anybody wanted to accomplish anything? Anybody wanted to do anything in particular? Have any conversations in particular? Or are we good?
Bianca will read more of her Blood Hunter book, as best she can.
All right. Okay. Let's see here.
Just passively, Cecily is going to grab 3 random things and start practicing juggling again. I don't know if that matters at all, but, just set dressing. She'll be doing that.
Yeah, make a dexterity check for me. And, Bianca, go ahead and make we'll say intelligence check. Just as you're, reading through it, see if you catch anything.
Can I use my performance?
Yeah, you can use performance. Yeah, well, it just depends. Are you, trying to impress somebody, or are you just practicing?
Oh, yeah, I guess I'm just practicing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just straight dex.
Just ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Okay. Yeah, Cecily, you're able to get about 4 full rotations in before you kind of lose track of the balls and they just kind of fall next to your feet. Bianca, as you sit and probably sitting in the front next to Ashima, trying to keep an eye out best you can, sometimes you get sucked away into this book. And the interesting thing about this book is there is a fair bit of translation and decoding that you have to do. Luckily, you are familiar with Infernal, being a tiefling, and it's something fairly easy for you to do. It just takes a little bit more time. But, I mean, you are I mean, you're pretty smart, and you never would tell anybody that because, you're never going to be cocky like that, but you know it. And you start to read through, and it's interesting because this is almost like a book of case studies, where instead of the first few pages are an instructional, process of how to activate the innate magic ability in blood and how to use that for yourself and against others. But the rest of it is talking about other blood hunters and what they were able to do and how they did it so you can try to emulate. So you study, and we'll say that over the course of about 6 hours is how much you're reading. And you feel like that if you were to keep digging and reading and trying to draw conclusions and make connections, that if you were to maybe spend a similar amount of time spread out over, a week or two, you might be able to discover something new about your blood hunter abilities. If you're picking up what I'm putting down.
Pick it up. I got you.
Got it? Cool. Smelling what I'm stepping in?
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Very cool.
Right.
Okay. So, anybody have anything else, or are you guys just continuing on your way?
Yep, I mean, just keeping on.
Okay. All right. Sounds good to me. So with that, at about the 8.5 hour mark, it's now 4 o'clock maybe, and you can see that in the distance by maybe about 50, 60 feet, there is one solid stone tower that is jutting up out of the ground, and you can see 5 or 6 different smoke fires beginning to rise from that area. And off to the west, you can see that the sun is beginning to set, and there is this cold that is beginning to settle over the area. So where before it was maybe, 25, 20 degrees, anytime that you are riding past and you get hit by a shadow of a very large tree, Desmond, that temperature drops from like 20 to 10. Like there is a 10-degree drop when you get into a shadow, and it just shivers down your
Desmond
spine.
Is furious with the cold. He's not having it.
Yeah. So you can see that, like I said, maybe 50 feet in front of you is the tower, the smoke fires. And as you begin to approach, you can see there are about 4 guards in the road, standing in the way, just standing post. And in between each one of the guards is a smaller brazier, glowing and burning with flame, blocking the road southward more. There's one guard who approaches, and you can definitely tell that he's of a higher status. You're not sure which, but all of them are wearing fur-inlaid or fur-lined armor, anywhere between half plate, breastplate, and full plate. This gentleman is wearing full plate armor that is trimmed in an enamel of purple and has a sort of half shoulder cloak that is lined with fur that has the symbol of the National Army of Bella Clara. 2 lions back to back, roaring upward, standing on their hind legs with 3 golden stars. One off to the left, one off to the right, and then one in the center. So as you approach, the man wearing a just a no helm steps out in front of you, and he says, "Hold there." And you can see that he's an older man, very, very fine, close to the jaw, trim, white beard, long hair pulled back into sort of a half up, half down, and very, very thin but pointed ears, some type of elf. And he says, hold there. Are all 5 of you looking for passage south, I presume?
Yes, we are.
Yes, and we were also informed of a safe location to camp for the night as well. Our friend,
yes,
I believe, can't take the cold any longer.
Oh, yes. We have many a Dragonborn who come through here who run through the same issue.
If he would like, he'd be more than willing, and we'd be more than happy to have him stay in the guard tower with us. We understand how the whipping winds can be against any of the reptilian kind. However, I just would like to let you know that if you do plan on staying here near the fires, there will be a 5 gold charge per person. On top of that, it helps us maintain the roads and pay for not just myself, but my brothers and sisters in arms here behind me. So that would bring the total to 25 gold for all of you. If you'd like to stay outside of the area, it's only 1 gold per person, but well, in the winter times, any of the clans that exist in the Deadwood or the Evergreen Expanse, they tend to get a little bit more brazen. So if that's something you feel like you can handle, please, don't let me decide for you. But how much is a safe night's sleep? Can't put a price on that.
Yeah, we could, and Bianca's going to look back at everybody and be like, we can afford it if you guys want to do the 25 gold.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, someone is going to have to cover me.
We have plenty of our group funds still that can afford it.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
All right. Well, we'll do
Can we
that.
just pull the whole 25 out of the group fund?
That's what I was going to do.
Well, that sounds good. I mean, that's what it exists for. So we're...
Yeah. Okay, cool. And that's what we'll do. Bianca will hand the man 25 gold.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Takes the gold.
Thank you.
All right. Move the braziers. Let them through. Let's see. Tommen, could you show them to the free spaces? And after you show them, make sure whenever... excuse me, sir. Speaking to you, Desmond. Master Dragonborn, what is your name?
Desmond.
Tommen, make sure you show Master Desmond whenever he's ready to the guard tower, and he can stay there free of charge with us. No extra fees, as we normally do, all right? All right. And Tommen says, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please, follow me. And you can see the a human young lad, barely even able to grow a scruff on his chin, sort of gestures you, wearing only a breastplate, with a fur-lined cloak that drapes all the way down to the ground. A little bit too long for him. He's definitely not built for being a soldier. He reminds you a little bit of Adam. He says, please, follow me. I'd be more than happy to show you where you'll be staying at. And see him smile and begin to turn around and walk away as these 4 lit braziers, they're moved out of the road, seemingly on wheels. Moved out of the way. As soon as your cart passes, they're closed once again, blocking the entranceway. As soon as Tommen is leading you away, you can see another guard comes and takes his place. Although it is fairly expensive and at least to some of you, very nonsensical. I mean, you cannot argue with how well armed and armored and organized this military is. I mean, it's kind of really something. I mean, you never really got to see it in Summer's Rest, as the cities are in charge of handling their own guards. But in terms of the National Army, they're good. They know what they're doing. But as soon as you notice it, the thought is fleeting, heads away, as you are led through what you can see is a collection of maybe 60, 70 people, all staying here camping. You can see there are large bonfires every 15 or 20 feet, and near each bonfire there are 5 different raised platforms. Only 3 or 4 inches off the ground, but it's just enough to be elevated off of the snow, to give a soft, hard place to rest on, or a nice elevated hard place away from any type of snow or moisture. So you are led down until you're about in between all 67 of these people. And Tommen says, all right, well, right here now, I will inform you that there are already a couple people here, and you can see there are 2 tents raised.
And this area is a little bit larger. You can see the bonfire is larger, and there's places for 6 tents. It is a little bit larger, but it's the only one that has enough tents spaces available for you. There are 2 campers here already, one family and then one older woman. Feel free to talk to them or not. Seems like most people around here are pretty friendly. This is it. Master Declan?
Desmond.
Desmond.
Declan, that's it, yeah.
Oh, it is Declan. Oh,
I'm just giving you shit. Yes, it's Desmond.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. Master Desmond, whenever you're ready, you can either find me or some other guard, and either one of us should be able to take you to the tower. If you'd like to stay there, you don't have to, but the choice is yours. But you can either find me or someone else. I already said that. Very well.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And he gives a bow. May the light illumine you. And he kind of turns awkwardly and begins to walk.
Spirit.
And he begins to walk southward, and then realizes he's going the wrong way, and kind of turns north. And all of you can see him kind of go around some of the other tents to avoid walking near you back in the other direction until he's eventually around and begins to head northward towards the gate again.
I like him.
Yeah. With that,
You ought to go there when you're ready, Desmond. I feel you'll be much more comfortable in those conditions. Just don't go torturing any of the poor young guards.
So torturing's off the table, but what about thievery?
I would honestly prefer you tease them over that. So I redact my previous statement.
What about biological experimentation?
Absolutely not. No.
Why don't you just try making friends? Or just sleeping, but...
Yeah.
Anyone who can make friends with a bugbear is certainly a friendly sort. That should be a metaphor.
Okay, for real, Desmond, if you're already cold, you should go there before the sun's down, or else you're gonna freak the fuck out.
The temperature will drop quite a bit.
More than it is already?
Yeah, the
Significantly.
sun's gonna be gone, dummy.
How do you people live?
Usually under a pile of warm garbage.
I'm very warm-blooded.
Rigidity and discipline.
Alright, 3 different answers.
and I am supremely used to it. As I said, I grew up in the cold.
If you want to stick around by the fire, that will make, you're welcome to if you want to try, but if you want to go inside, that's also okay.
I might stay for a little bit. I don't want to miss the juicy gossip.
All right.
Okay,
I
fine.
If there isn't... Is there a fire already going in the space we were brought to, or are we
Yes.
supposed to make our own? Okay.
No, there is. Yeah, there's one large bonfire that's probably about 8.5 by 8.5 feet. And there is already a fire currently crackling in it. And being near it, it's rather warm. I mean, it's a large bonfire meant to give heat to all 6 of the tents around you. It's already burning. You do, Desmond, feel a little better being near the tent. And you can see Cecily getting into the motions already, warming up fingers and toes. And it's nice. Then I presume the 5 of you, the 4 of you and Keothi want to begin to set up your tents?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll go ahead and start setting those up.
Okay. Alrighty. So you begin to set up your tents, and ooh, man, house. Begin setting up your tents, and it only takes you about a half an hour. You do need to help each other as the fur is very thick and very heavy, and it is definitely a 2, if not a 3-person job. Between Desmond and Cecily, you do need Keothi to help you after she's already got hers set up in about 5 minutes. Very resourceful person, but with her help, you're able to get yours up as she just kind of wraps her arm around the tent and just kind of holds it up while the two of you nail everything in and set everything up. And then with that, she kind of very softly sets it down and says, well, see, there you go. That wasn't very hard.
Yeah, sure.
It was easy for you.
Oh, well, if you ever need help, don't hesitate to ask. I didn't want to presume. I've noticed that sometimes humanoids, they can, or others, they can tend to be very prideful. And I've learned that it's probably not best to provoke that. Most times they would rather be frustrated doing something and do it by themselves than ask for help and do it better. It is very confusing to me. But
No, you're good.
please, if you ever need help again, do not hesitate to ask.
Thank you. I was just, I didn't mean it in any sort of way. I was just tired of putting up mine.
Oh, it is okay. No offense taken.
So, as you finish getting your tents together, you can see that there are, the other people in this area are kind of peeking their heads out of the tents and moving by, and you can see there are a couple of metal pots that are hung up near the fire pits in a way to cook any type of stew or meat or any type of food you would wish that can be cooked in a metal pot. But you can see that there is a small family of small folk, seemingly an older halfling and an older dwarf, and then a sort of smattering of 3 or 4 either halfling or dwarvish children between the two of them. You can see them walking around, getting over towards the food, and Cecily, as you're sticking your hands and fingers out to heat them up, you can see a halfling kind of come over and sit down next to you and stick their bare feet up and just kind of go, "Hi, it's nice to meet you."
Yep. Hey. Cool.
My name's Gilly. It's nice to meet you. This fire feels good, doesn't it?
Knowing the natural loquaciousness of halflings, I'll head over and
Oh, thank you.
and sit down by the 3 of them.
Oh, hey, you have feet like mine. That's so
And
cool.
you have feet much like mine. I suppose you found the best spot, though.
Oh, if you want it, you can have it. My feet are already pretty
Oh.
warm from. Although, okay, I mean, I'll keep it. That doesn't bother me any.
They say exercise warms your body, and after a long day of travel, I think I am quite warm.
Oh, yeah, my mom says stuff like that too. That's why she says that I'm always so hot, because even when we're traveling, I'm always running around everybody. So she says that's why I never get cold that much.
It's important not to sweat too much in these cold temperatures.
That's what my dad says. He always says that if I run too much, I could turn into an icicle because of all the sweat.
You have 2 very wise parents, it seems. Are they with you in the tent over yonder?
Almost on cue, you can see a dwarvish man, very, very long, like auburn red hair and beard, all kind of braided together, come out of the tent and be like, Gilly, where are you? Gilly, what are you? And he kind of like hobbles over, and you can see he's one of the only people in the family who is wearing shoes, as all of the other kids are barefoot, and so is the mom. He says, Gilly, what are you? I'm so sorry. Gilly, come on. And kind of picks up his daughter, who is about half the size of him, but he's got these huge, massive biceps and forearms, picks her up and holds her
and says, "I'm so sorry. She can be a little talkative, and I hope she didn't. I hope she didn't talk your ear off."
Oh, nonsense. She was very proud to share the wisdom that you had taught her about traveling. I think any parent would be proud to hear that.
Oh yeah. Gilly, what was it? The one about the bear and the. Oh no, it was about the running around in all the sweat, and if not, I'd turn into an icicle. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yes, that's good. That is a good piece of advice. And he kind of sets her down. Says, "Well, it's nice to meet you. My name's Thundoon." He reaches out his hand towards you, Ashima.
Yeah, I'll give him a hearty shake. I'll stand and... Well
yes.
met. I'm Shima Peregrine.
Oh, that's a good handshake you got there. I mean no offense, but typically, I spent a lot of years underground mining, and so anytime I run into somebody who has a handshake that matches mine, I'm rather impressed.
My secret? Wrist push-ups.
Oh, that's a... Yes. Sorry, with kids, sometimes I anticipate jokes to be a little bit more nonsensical with less thought put into them. Like, knock knock, who's there? You're a poopy head, and then they run away, that type of thing. So I sometimes... Well, Mr. Peregrine...
Ashima rubs his wrists, knowing that's only half a joke. Like drunken master style, like the flop push-ups. Ow.
Well, it was great meeting you. Tell me, Peregrine, right?
Yes, sir.
Man. Wait a minute. Tori, come out here, Tori. And you can see a woman make her way out of the tent, a halfling woman about the same size and stature as Ashima, maybe a little bit more plump, but she heads out in these very thick fur cloak and kind of waddles out and says, "Yes, darling, what's going on? Oh, I see you've made friends. That's new." Kind of makes her way over towards her husband, and he says, "This is Ashima Peregrine. Now, I remember you were telling me about... Oh, I cannot think of it. Oh, Peregrine." And you can see her kind of cock her head a little bit. Why does that name sound familiar?
Ashima's face is going to go a little white, and he says, it's a Avarian name. It's quite popular down there, I imagine.
Oh, I'm from Iverian. I'm from the Riverlands. Where are you from?
Oh, I'm not. My parents were from there, but I was born in Loshar, actually.
Loshar? Oh, is that the place across the dancing sea? The one with all the they have all the what was it? It was a lot of gongs. Is that what it was?
Ah, yes. I would be surprised, having lived there, if you couldn't hear them from here.
Why? That's very interesting. So you said your parents were from there. I'm not back home very often anymore. But if I were, well, never mind. I don't want to impose anything at all. It's just very often that I run into people who I might have some type of standing relationship with. You must understand how being a seemingly so well-traveled man as yourself, how often we don't run into a kind like ours this far up north.
Solidarity is a very powerful maker of friends. And I find that if you talk to anyone long enough, you eventually find something you find in common. Even if it's simply that you both breathe.
You hear both of them kind of laugh at your joke. Excuse me.
I'll point to the rest of the group. I imagine it's no small example of this than the strange cavalcade that I travel with.
You can see their eyes just kind of linger on each person. They kind of scoot past Cecily a little bit more, which is probably preferable to Cecily. But they stare at Desmond and Bianca and Keothi, and then they come back to you. And they say, yeah, it is a bit of a diverse company you keep. Well, you'll have to tell me more about this Loshar place. I mean, if you're staying here for the night, I already have something cooking in the pot if you'd like to take part. I'm so used to cooking for 15, 20 that even though I'm only cooking for 6 anymore, I always tend to cook a little bit extra. However, I might need to make more if they plan on eating, kind of lowering their voice, pointing at Keothi, who is plopped down in the snow. Just this very a normal-sized book for most people, but is huge or is so tiny in her hands, just flipping page by page. Cecily, remembering that those noises are apparently never going to stop when she's reading.
Yeah.
We would be honored to join you. But we can't. We can, of course, pay you in gold for your hospitality, or simply stories and friendship.
Stories, indeed. If you can get the little ones to sit down for more than 5 minutes to eat their food and warm up by the fire, that's all the payment I need.
I suppose between all of us, large and small, we could accomplish this.
Very good. Well, I'll tell them, and I'm sure that'll perk them up right quick. Well, Turi, or Thundu, we should probably gather them. Lord knows where they've gone in this camp here. Well, thank you. And what do you say in maybe half an hour?
That sounds lovely to me. We'll finish setting up and then meet you there.
Very good, very good. It was a pleasure, Mr. Peregrine, and I look forward to dinner. And Thundui says, I look forward to dinner as well. It was great talking, and I look forward to hearing those stories, kind of looking at all the odd 5 collection of people you have with you. Dragonborn tiefling. Best decision we ever made, traveling. I know, right? As their conversation trails off as they begin to walk away. So, with that, you continue on, and does anybody have anything they'd like to do in the meantime here?
I don't have anything in particular.
I might briefly keep working on juggling. Is this is just going to be Cecily's background thing? All right, let's just get that out of the way right now. The next 2 sessions, if we're ever not doing anything, she's working on juggling. She used to be good at juggling. Then the orphanage happened and she forgot. She used to be excellent at juggling. She would raise money for food. We got to get back on the juggling train.
Are you trying to have an Elliot whistling moment?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be something like that. Like, eventually she'll be like, ah, shit, I got it. And then start doing tricks and whatever. It's just in the background, Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
so
Joe,
yeah,
you don't know how to whistle. Well, does it sound like I know how to whistle?
Yeah. Yes, Cameron, what's up? Desmond.
How far down south are we at this point? This 8 after it. Can you pull the map back out and show us where we are? I'm just curious.
I will show you. Bella Clara.
Thank you.
Okay, so you guys are currently... Let's pray that it hangs in there.
Yeah, well, at least my video on Twitch has watched ads 3 times for you now.
Yeah, there we go. That's the entire point. Okay.
All right, seems like we're back.
It just means we're not going to have ambient flowing smoke anymore. I think that's what the issue was, is because that was a very high definition video, so I think it might have just been a lot for Streamlabs.
It was cool.
It was.
Yeah.
I liked it.
And it was never an issue before. So,
Well.
gosh. All right, cool. We're here now, though.
Is sound
Alrighty.
on?
Yes, I got it this time. Okay, sorry about that. Let's try this again. So, conversation was happening between them, and I think it cut out right as I was saying where you guys were. So you guys are right about there, right before the line. So you still have probably a day and a half before you get to this map marker right here, which is just a small village. It's maybe 15, 20 buildings, maybe 80 people. But it's a place that has an inn, or it has an inn that you can stay at. So when you get there, you'll be able to stay inside of a place. But for now, you are camping out here, and there was about a half an hour. So in that half an hour, I believe nobody had anything really in particular they wanted to do. Cecily, you wanted to attempt juggling again. So in this day, you're still at about the same spot, practicing just over today. Where you can get about 4 or 5 rotations in, and the balls just fall to the ground because you just can't keep track of them after that long. You start to get a little dizzy. But yeah. So you're still about there. Okay?
I had asked about looking for, like, keeping, not like going out to investigate, but just keeping an eye out for any, like, carved symbols or things that would look familiar the further down south we get.
Okay.
I don't think there would be anything here, but I just want to keep my eyes peeled. Just in case.
Okay. Yeah, so go ahead and make an investigation check. And as you are getting up to leave, you walk past Keothi, and she goes, "Oh, Desmond, are you going out to explore?"
Not necessarily. Why were you wanting to go out to explore?
Well, there had been something that had been bothering me since we arrived, and I wanted to go investigate. I'm not sure if that is something that would entice you at all. But, well, if you are going out, I would be more than happy to accompany you. I figure that if a Goliath and a Dragonborn walk together, we would draw less attention than if we were to walk alone.
Not sure if I necessarily agree with that logic, but we can definitely do that before we... If you want to join me, I wasn't planning on looking around too awful much, but I definitely can. I mean, there's always neat things to find, you know?
Yes, indeed there are, and one thing I wanted to look at in particular is that tower.
Looking northward towards the guard tower.
I want to get your opinion on something, if I could borrow you. I don't want to take you away from whatever you were attempting to do.
As Keothi has kind of pulled you away from your investigation.
It's no problem. Keo, let's do it.
Oh, good. All right.
And you see her kind of put her hood up, tighten her head or hood a little bit more to really keep the heat in, and she looks down to you and says,
"Would you like me to make you one of these? I think it might be a little bit more effective than, well, blankets."
If you have the time, I mean, it'd probably be pretty nice. It looks pretty warm.
Oh, yes, it is. It is how I am able to stay so optimistic. If I were only wearing blankets, I would probably be as miserable as you are.
And yeah, if you don't mind doing that, I whenever you have the chance, of course, you know, no rush, but...
Oh, it is no problem.
He says as he's, like, shivering in his boots.
I will see if there is a merchant who I can maybe purchase some furs from to make this for you.
Kind of looking you up and down.
It should not be that much. You are, and I mean no offense, but most people are much smaller than me.
He kind of grumbles to himself a little bit. Doesn't like being called small, but... yeah.
Yeah. So, she begins to turn and walk, and just kind of looking around. And you can see that she's trying to look inconspicuous, like trying to keep her head down and her shoulders hunched. But to you, somebody who knows how to look inconspicuous, she just looks like a mummy who's just like dragging her feet. And it's even louder because of how big she is. But she's walking.
Yeah, I'm gonna whisper to her, you know, maybe you ought to just try to look like you're not doing anything that's sketchy. That's the best way to look inconspicuous.
Very well, if you insist. So just walk like normal. Just kind of straightens her back. And she begins to walk. And you can definitely tell that she's very tense.
Up and pat her on the back.
Oh, thank you, Desmond.
All right. So what is it that we're looking for?
Well, tell me. And she takes you over towards the guard tower. And she says, do you see anything interesting about this tower?
I'll give the tower a long look.
Give that bad boy an investigation check.
Another one, or do you want to use my one from earlier?
Another one.
Another one.
Nice.
Good, because that's better. So what do I notice about this bad boy?
Alrighty. Well, what you notice is that, well, it's odd. As with any tower that you've seen, whether it be in Summer's Rest or Giant's Bridge or Water's Wake, you anticipate stone towers to, for one, be made of stone, but then mortar as well. Something to keep the bricks connected and to try and keep them stuck together and reinforce them as a whole. But the thing is, there's no mortar here. It looks like one flat sheet of stone carved into a tower. And you do notice with a 15, you see a symbol. It's not one that you recognize, but it is a symbol nonetheless. It is what looks to be a raven, spread out. Its wingspan spread out, and it seems to be almost give this greenish gold tint to it.
Like a glow or like a color, if that makes sense.
A color, not a glow. It doesn't seem magical. It just seems like the stone has been tinted a color.
Okay, I'm just gonna, looking it up and down, I'm gonna trace over it with my claw, not harshly, just kind of like tracing over it with my finger. Now that you mention it, I don't think I've ever seen a tower look like this before.
Would you like to know why, Desmond?
It's like not. Yeah. Color me curious.
This is masonry of my people. You see, we have a special tool that can carve into stone and create a mortar inside that is almost a universal glue and solvent. It melds the stone together on the inside, like a skeleton inside your body. It keeps everything together and connected and is even stronger than mortar on the exterior. If you give it a knock and put your ear next to it, you should almost hear, are you familiar with what a tuning fork is?
I don't think so.
Well, they are typically used by wanderers or performers. Before they are about to sing without a band, they will strike it on something and it will make a note that resonates between two different metal forks.
It helps them know what note they need to sing at to start. But if you knock on that, you should hear a very low
I will put my ear to it and knock.
Okay, and you knock. There's a very low thrum that lasts for about 15 seconds and then slowly fades away.
That's really cool. What does this symbol mean? And I'm pointing it out.
A symbol. Well, it could mean one of many things. Anytime a Goliath of any of the clans makes something, they leave a mark to let any others coming by which clan made it. And she looks at the symbol you pointed out.
Which clan is this?
Her head cocks, and she says, well, I do not know.
Is that normal for you not to know, or is that like a weird thing?
It is not normal, and it is a weird thing. I am just...
What is the symbol of your clan?
The symbol of my clan, of Anakalathai, is that of an owl. There is the clan of Shai Ka, which is that of crossed blades. Then there is the Katho Olavai, which is that of the skull of an elk. We all live together. In Queen Dilar, we live as one. This is not a clan I know.
So, but you still think it is a Goliath clan?
It must be, unless there was someone who stole our tools and mastered our masonry. I can guarantee you this building has not been repaired for... how long did the thrumming last when you knocked on it?
About 15, 16 seconds, maybe.
So then it has not been adjusted at all for about 160 years, maybe more.
How long do they usually last before you need adjustments to them?
Well, it depends on the mason. It can last for 500-600 years, or it can last about 15, but that is only for the youngest of the builders.
So how old would you say this one is?
Well, judging from the style, you can see the parapet up there. They use rounded edges instead of sharp corners. This was found to be preferable, maybe 800 or 900 years ago? So it could be 160 years old, or it could be about 900.
Wow. And you don't know anything about this Raven clan?
I do not. And I do not say it lightly, but it is kind of my thing to know. That is the entire reason I left, was because I know a lot. There is one point of interest for me, though. Typically, with my people, whenever we are building, it is seen as a work of art, the same as how there may be a museum. I have heard of those, where they put the greatest collections of art together into one place for people to go and look at. Those artists who put their pieces in those museums, they spend many, many moons perfecting them. It is the same with us. We look at everything we make as art, as it must be perfect before it is finished. So, if someone were to be this far from home, they would need to be staying somewhere. If they are anything like the Anakalathai clan, they do not wish to impose on anyone. So I may be thinking they may have built a home nearby. Now, I know that the cold is very scary to you, Desmond. But I must tell you, I am very intrigued, and if I were to make you a cloak, would you maybe want to go out into the woods and explore?
I think I could be convinced. I'm intrigued too. You know, I don't know a lot about Goliaths or clans or masonry or architecture or art or anything like that, but it's just something kind of odd about this whole thing. And if you don't know, I mean, you're the only person I know who would know, so. But yeah, I think if I could warm up a little bit and get a better cloak maybe, or I'd be willing to go out with you.
Well, that warms my heart to hear, and it seems like I'll be able to give some of that warmth to you.
That would be very appreciated.
Well, you go back to the fire, and I will go find some furs, and hopefully by the time I get back, I will have a new cloak for you.
That quickly, huh?
Yes, every member of Clan Anakalathai, they must learn how to build with stone, and to sew with cloth, and also read with words. It is what our clan is known for, knowledge above all else. Knowledge of how to do things, knowledge of how to use tools, knowledge of, well, everything.
Well, I have no knowledge in any of those three things, so it's glad that you're with us.
Well, do not worry. By the time I am done with you, Desmond, you will know as much, if not more, than I do. Well, you go back to the fire. I must find those furs quickly. I'm sure that most of the vendors are probably closing their stores. Well, you go. I will catch up.
Right. Be safe. Don't. If you need anything, just, shout for us.
Oh, you should not worry. Typically, I can talk most people down. I don't know why, but most people, as soon as I raise my voice to tell them to calm down, which their voice, echoes around the area, knocking off some of the trees and even shaking some of the trees a little bit as Keothi begins to raise her voice, they tend to stare and then move away. I just wanted to talk to them at a normal pace, but they didn't want to listen, so I had to get louder. Well, I will be fine.
Seems like you'll be all right then.
Hopefully
I'm
so.
gonna reach up, pat her on the shoulder if I can reach.
She'll see you coming and she'll kind of lean over a little bit. Thank you, Desmond.
Thank you, Keo.
Yes.
And I will turn around and briskly walk back to the fire.
Definitely speed walking. And you make your way back, and at about that point, a half an hour has passed, and you can see that during that half an hour, there has been some conversation, at least between Ashima and Bianca. And as you return back to the campfire, you can see that the dwarvish halfling family, Thundu and Turi, they begin pouring stew into bowls, handing them out to you four who were there, and, well, you three who were there, and Desmond as you return. Thundu comes over and he says, here you go. Hot off the press. It seems like you could probably use it. Sets this hot stew that's steaming up into your face.
Never ever thank you enough for this. I'm just gonna go to Chow Town.
All right, so you kind of go next to the fire a little bit too close. Everybody gets a little bit nervous seeing you that close to the fire, but you don't care. You're willing to take a few burns if it means you can finally feel warm.
So you can see that there is the husband, the wife, and 6 children sitting around the fireplace, nestled up next to one another, just staring at the 4 of you across the fire pit. And you can see that making their way out of the tent, and this is somebody that none of you had seen yet, is an maybe middle-aged man of darker complexion, a very thin-trimmed goatee and mustache, and then what looks to be almost like dreads on the top half of his head, almost like a mohawk, tied off into a braid on the back. Pointed ears, maybe half-elven. He begins to step out, and you can see the kids, they turn around to him, and they wave, and they say, "Hi, Chine! Hi!" And then all of them just sort of wave, and he smiles and waves back. He says, "Hello, hello. Well, it's good to see everyone, and, well, I see that we finally have some company here with us. Hello, as they have seemingly introduced me already. My name is Chine. It is an honor to meet, such interesting travelers." As he kind of looks at the 4 of you. Turi, do you mind if I partake in your food? I do not wish to be a burden, but the cold, dried meats are not exactly doing it for dinner. And the halfling woman says, of course, please, take whatever you want. And he moves over, he grabs a bowl, pours some into it, and sits in between the halfling and dwarvish children and you on the far end of the fire. So, now there, the kids all staring at you with anticipation. Eventually, the one girl, or the one young boy, Gilly, he says, So, my dad said that you would have stories. What did you do? You did something? You did a thing?
Wait. Listen. Do you hear it? Do the mountains here not sing to you?
What? No, they don't. Are they supposed to?
Well, where I come from, they certainly do. You've not heard of the singing mountains of Loshar, have you?
All 6 of the kids deadlocked onto you. They are in it.
I can. This is out of character. I can share this story, or I can fade out.
Share story.
Okay.
Share the story.
Well, it's up to you. Whatever
I'm
you want
ready.
to do.
I'll do it.
I'm ready.
Long ago, some say it was perhaps the 11th century, there was a peaceful monk who lived in the mountains of Loshar. He would build folks' houses out of stone by rising the stone out of the ground using his bare hands. As if you can make a snowball, he could make mountains and hills. His name was Dukong. Now known as Dukong of the Waves, posthumously. Meaning, that is to say, they gave him the title after he had passed away. As you can imagine, it has been some time since anyone has ever seen anyone to move stone with their bare hands like that. Many cultures will use tools, but Dukong could move mountains with his fingers.
And as you're
Flip them
telling
away.
the story, Ashima, you can see Chine, he's taken out a small stringed instrument and begins to just kind of pluck away music as you're telling your story.
Excellent. Now, one day, it's a very sad day for Dukong. He visited some of his friends in the deltas of Loshar. He would build homes for people in the rice paddies. Their homes often would flood as the waters would come in during the wet season. But he was able to rise their homes out of the dirt into the sky, where they would never, ever sink. And often children about your age would be able to leap from stone house to stone house, never touching the water nor the ground. But there was a day he came to find the entire village destroyed. It was raided by vicious Atarashan pirates. Foul, sharpened-teeth men with teeth blacker than night. Swords as sharp as... Well, I might cut myself on the thought alone of how sharp those short swords were. And this angered Dukong. These people had done nothing wrong, only possessed something that they wanted. And so Dukong became very angry. And it is said in Loshar, do not anger the man who moves mountains. Dukong sent a message to the pirates. He spread it amongst fishermen all through the area that he was hoarding a grand gold mine that he had picked out of the mountain with his bare hand, ripped it from the ground, and placed in the open, and challenged any pirates who were brave enough to come find it. Well, when the pirates arrived, they could hardly believe it. You might think that they had seen the shine of the gold all the way from the dancing seas, and they came dancing in on their long, wooden, rickety boats with their black, sharpened teeth as night and those sharp steel swords. But the village was different. They noticed the houses were much higher and connected, where once children could leap from house to house. Now it was more like walls, closing them in. And as the pirates began to walk through the village, they noticed that the walls behind them were closing, changing every which way. They panicked. They ran, screamed, clawed at the walls, yelling for mercy from Dukong, knowing that it was him who had trapped them in this labyrinth. That they had found a reason to no longer be greedy. They begged for forgiveness. After 3 long days, no water and no food, they were ready to leave. They all fell into a pile and cried, begging for mercy, completely renouncing their ways of evil. And then a door opened. The boats right behind them. They had been walking in a circle for 3 days, never knowing it, never traversing more than 100 feet inland. They began to get on their boats. And when they realized the trick that had been played upon them, they were mad. They forgot about all their renunciations, and all they wanted to do was make the people of Loshar suffer. And so they threw away their sharp steel swords, and they grit their terrible black teeth, sharp as their swords. And they began to gather pitch on catapults, which they kept on their wooden rickety ships. But as they began to light the fires on those balls of pitch, they noticed the water began to sink and sink and sink and sink lower and lower and lower until the beach itself was a mountain above them. And as they looked around, they saw their own tomb encompassing them. And when the walls went down, the dancing sea swept them away. Now Dukong was never heard from again. But it's said if you walk through the mountains in Loshar, you can hear a humming sound. And this is true. Any traveler to Loshar will tell you they've heard this too. Some say it's echoes in the mountains. Some say it's the shifting of the continent long after Asmodeus is gone. But some say it's Dukong humming a dirgeful melody for all those pirates who were never heard from again. And so if you ever hear singing in the mountains, remember to be very polite to the mountains, because mountains have friends as well.
You can see as you finish the story, all 6 of the kids, even the 2 parents, and even Chine as he was plucking away at his stringed instrument, even he was sucked into it. You can see that Cecily, although she tries not to be invested, she is as well. Desmond as well, and Bianca, she's definitely she's definitely vibing with it as well. As the flames in the fire would change from blue to green to red to express whatever feeling was in the story. And you can see that as you finish, the one kid, Gilly, the young boy says, So Dukong is still there? He's still in the mountains?
I couldn't say. Perhaps some part of it is. Perhaps it's only his voice. When you shout out into a large empty area, do you often hear your own voice?
Oh yeah, like when I yell into the trees, like, "Whoa!" You can hear his voice echo off of the trees next to the forest, right next to the campsite, like that.
And Ashima's gonna like put his hand to his ear. Do you know how far an echo goes?
No, how far?
Well, I don't know. I was hoping you would.
Dad, do you know how far an echo goes? Probably some 70, 80 feet, maybe more. It depends how big the area is, because I think it bounces off. I don't know.
That does sound reasonable to me. Perhaps somebody who could shape the very mountains could send an echo that lasted millennia, that kept reverberating and going and going and going. And just as those pirates bounced off those walls back and forth, perhaps his echo is still with us.
Well, I want to be Dukong. Let me. And you see him kind of like, he stands up and brushes the snow off of his pants, and you see him trying to like lift up the dirt in front of him just by like gesturing up. Nope.
Well, perhaps when you were older, you might head to Loshar and learn the ways, or blacksmithing ways. There are many ways to move the earth. But I will tell you one thing. We'll have to wait for the spring, at least. All this snow is not around.
Oh, okay. I know what he's doing now, talking to his siblings. He's like, okay, we'll reenact it. We'll do it. We can use the snow. We can make the walls. You 3 can be the pirates, and you 2 can be the Loshari, and then I can be Dukong, and then I'll throw snow at the pirates, and then the pirates will die. Yes. And you see them all break up and just run away together, and they begin to like build up walls out of snow, and throw snowballs at each other as Gilly begins to like pick up big mounds of snow and throw them at his brothers and sisters, as the ones who are the pirates kind of fall over and they're like,
That's delightful.
And you can see as you are there playing, and the adults are watching them, and the adults and Cecily and Desmond are watching them goof around. You can see Chine, which I'll go ahead and share this now. The only difference with this art is he does not have a glowy forehead and eye. But this is Chine. There you go.
Oh, I love Chine.
Yeah.
So he kind of sets his
looks like Corvus from the Dragon Prince.
Yeah.
Corvus
is
is
he-
such a badass.
Is he grappling hook guy?
Yeah, he's grappling hook guy.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
heck
is.
yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So he sets his instrument off to the side and he kind of leans forward and he says, "So, this is a very interesting story. I've heard many stories of Loshar, but that is one that has not graced my ears yet. So thank you for letting me add it to the catalog. If it's all right with you, I would love to retell the story elsewhere."
Why, please do. Often our stories stay amongst ourselves or in the monasteries. So I'd be
Well,
honored if you take it with you.
Of course, I'd be happy to share it. So, if you don't mind me asking, as I'm sure many people have pointed out already, you all seem like quite the quite the group of people. Is there anywhere in particular you're traveling to? I only ask is because people traveling that seem like they could be the cause of stories, I tend to want to know where they're going, so I can claim to have met them.
Wandering a little bit, but we're heading through the Giant's Basin and then probably to Belka, maybe end in Rivers Pass. Things might change along the way, but that's the idea for now.
That is, well, it's quite the way to go. I was heading south myself as well. Sadly, I'll be staying here for a few more days, as I need to collect a few more things. But if you all find yourselves there, as I said, I've been collecting stories, and well, I have heard tell of this one town. It is near Giant's Bridge, maybe a day's travel, a half day's travel away from it. But I hear that they, for whatever reason, once every 10 years, whether it be because the town is on a ley line of some kind or what have you, even in the beginnings of winter, they have one final day of summer in the middle of the winter. And it only happens once every 10 years, and, well, I was hoping to see it. And, well, if you find yourselves traveling south, it's easy enough. Along the road, apparently, in the weeks before, there is a path that opens up, and it leads you to this place. And I have no idea if it is real or fake, but, I mean, I don't know about the rest of you, but one final day of summer before months and months of winter, that could not come soon enough.
Also sounds really interesting. Do you know why
Let's
the
do it.
path opens up and that happens?
As I said, it is about 100 different stories. Some people say it is because there is a Fey patron who once, making sure the kids are far enough away and kind of looking down at Cecily, said there once was a Fey who fell in love with a woman there. And, well, apparently the seeds that were planted there have continued to cause a change in the weather, if that makes any sense. Some people also say that it is due to an arcane ley line, that every 10 years there is a flash of magic that melts all of the snow and causes heat to return. Some say the land is under a spell by a powerful wizard who tries to extort money from people, which, believe you me, that's the one that I am most banking on, considering where we are. But, regardless, I think that it is at least worth a look, even if I have to spend an arm and a leg to get in.
Well,
Pretty interesting to me.
I would certainly like to see it.
Desmond could probably use a day of sun.
Is that right, Desmond? I presume then that this is the Dragonborn.
He's just shivering, imagining the warmth.
Yes, I always.
Let's go there. Yeah, let's do that.
Yes. Well, it seems like your
God,
decision has been
Desmond,
made.
we're
For
in
you.
the room with the fire. I don't know if you're gonna. We should go back. I don't know if he's gonna make it.
I can beat this. I just gotta get used to it. Keothi's gonna make me a warmer cloak.
Well, that'll
That's
be good.
That's what she told me.
So at about that point, you can see, and it's very, very clear to see, coming back, large bundle of furs and leathers in her hands. Desmond, she walks over towards you. You can see it's Keothi, and she says, "Desmond, I am finished with your cloak. It is not quite the quality that I wanted to.
That was so fast.
Oh, yes, I am quite the skilled seamstress." And she flips it open and then drapes it around you, and it's a little long and a little bulky, but it's just all the extra room of thick furs. And she says, "They didn't have the right thread, so the colors clash a little bit, and I really, really apologize. I promise you, if I would have had more time and more resources, I could have made you something much more presentable. If you're ever presented in front of the Seeker, well then, they'll have my head, but hopefully we will not be there anytime soon."
I just imagine Desmond looking like he's wearing one of those like huge like hoodie things that they make, and it's just like really oversized. It's like the girlfriend wearing the way bigger boyfriend's hoodie, and he just looks so comfy and cozy and little in this huge thing.
Comfy cozy.
It's perfect.
Cozy are we. Oh, that is perfect. Here. There you go. See warmth from my heart put into yours.
It feels very nice. You have a very warm heart, Keothi.
Oh, well, thank you, Desmond. And you can see Chine is kind of like looking up at this Goliath, and there is just this huge grin on his face. You all do keep strange company. And I mean that in the most polite way. And he stands and he gives a very slight bow, and he says, "I never thought that I would run into a sage. It is a great honor to meet you. Sage, my heart carries many, many thanks for allowing you in my presence." "Oh, well, you are fine, do not worry. Outside of the hearthstone, there is no need for such formality. While I do appreciate it, in all honesty, it does make me slightly uncomfortable. But thank you for the kind words. I meant no offense. Well..." He kind of sits back down and begins to eat his soup a little bit more. "Well, I hope to see all of you in that small town, wherever it may be, if it even exists."
Guys.
And so he goes back to eating, and Keothi kind of kneels down next to Desmond and towards the rest of you and says, "Excuse me, may I speak to everyone momentarily?"
I'm
Of
here.
course.
Please.
"So Desmond and I, we were investigating earlier, and we discovered something. Do you know that tower that we passed?
Mm-hmm.
There seems to be some type of
Well, that tower was made by my people. And it is a very fine construction. And something like that would have taken even 2 or 3 of my kind many, many months, maybe even years to make, as we care a great deal for what we create. So I believe there may be remnants of an abode they might have stayed in, somewhere in this area. And if all of you would entertain the thought, I thought it might be interesting to search for it. We do not have to, but I'm sure that there would be something interesting to discover at least.
You wanna walk around and look for a cool house?
Well, I guess that is the very laconic way to put it, yes. I want to go around and look for a cool house.
Well, I don't know what laconic. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm cool with that. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
That's what we do. We're gonna go save the day. We're gonna go find a house.
I think we've become friendly enough
House
with our
hunters.
temporary neighbors that they'll ensure that nothing is taken.
You can
There's
see.
plenty of guards around too.
Oh, well, that as well.
I don't
Trust
want to
guards.
take you away. If it is too much, I could always go look by myself. Now that you're saying yes, I feel bad about asking.
What? No,
Feel
that's like
bad.
the opposite. Nah. Oh,
We
it's
love
not.
you,
We're gonna-
Keo.
I'm curious now. I gotta know.
I hadn't thought about what was in the area, but now that it's been mentioned, I'm a bit curious as well.
Yeah, and if we keep sitting here, those kids are gonna try talking to me again, and that's gonna go bad. I mean, the rest of you don't want that, so
Well, if you all are okay with it, I would be more than happy to do it then. Would you all like to wait until the morning, or would you like to go right now? I can tell you that while my excitement is of a great magnitude right now, thinking about what the implications of this could mean, I do not want to, well, now looking to Desmond, I do not want to make anyone any more uncomfortable than they might already be.
yeah. Didn't the guards say something about cults going around at night, creepy crawlies and all that?
Not to
I mean,
mention, that
if we want to go now, I got a little. Let me make my dancing lights. I got a little lady thingies. That doesn't help too much, but
well, we wouldn't get lost for those.
If we're looking for something, we'd probably want more light to help us find it, ideally.
right, for using our eyes. That's yeah.
I don't
Wait,
know
we were
about the
gonna
rest
use
of you,
our
but I don't
eyes?
see in the dark too well.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
me
can
either.
see in the dark, I mean, relatively well, but
Oh.
still not the greatest.
I cannot see in the dark at all, actually. My excitement bests me sometimes. Maybe morning is best then.
That sounds like a great idea.
Well,
Yeah.
then. I suppose then, I am going to get some rest. I will need to make sure that I am fully rested and ready. I have no idea what to expect, but hopefully we will find a small cottage of some kind. Some hint as to what that symbol of that raven might mean.
Should we? I know we're in like a safe place, but should we still sleep in shifts? Kind of what Dranor told us to do.
It sounds like a good thing to do anyway.
Yeah. Because he kind of said all the time, no matter what.
Yeah, he did. And he's not dramatic, so.
Want me to take the first shift? I think Desmond probably shouldn't take any shifts and should just sleep.
Oh, I don't mind staying up for the first little while. Before some of the young ones go to bed, they might have questions about the story.
Yeah, okay, we can trade.
Okay. Alrighty. So you get your sleeping shifts set up, making sure to keep an eye out for anything that might match the warnings of Draenor. But with that, you head off to sleep. Sleeping in your shift, just so I know, it is Ashima first and then Cecily, or Ashima first and then Bianca?
Bianca offered to do one of them. So.
Okay. Ashima and then Bianca. Very cool. So Ashima, in the first shift, you definitely see that there are some kids who try and sneak out of the tent to make their way towards you to ask questions. You can see the parents usher them back into the tent and apologize for them trying to interrupt whatever you were doing. But that seems to be the only thing that really happens on your watch. And then Bianca, covering that very graveyard shift. The activity in the camp is almost zero. You can see that there are guards patrolling. They pass up and down the streets maybe every 2.5 minutes. Very, very, very heavily guarded, heavily patrolled. Seeing that you're up and just sort of sitting by the fire that's still only blazing a little bit to provide a little bit of warmth, a couple of the guards do approach. You can see one of them is Tommen, but the other one is a guard who's wearing a full face coughed helmet. And he's the one who speaks and says, "Excuse me, ma'am, is there anything wrong?"
I just don't sleep well when I travel, so just thought, why fight it and just be up early?
Oh, of course. Well, if you see anything or need anything, don't hesitate to let us know.
Thank you so much.
And you can see Tommen, he kind of looks at you and looks over to the tents and he says, so I never, Declan, Master Declan, he never showed up at the tower. Was he okay? Or did he just, is he okay? I just never.
What? I was just gonna say, I figured that when we went to sleep that I did do that, but.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we'll say as you. No, that is okay. That's really okay. So we'll kind of backpedal. Actually, we don't need to. Tommen still says, I never saw him come there. And the other guard kind of looks at him. Like you can just see hear the helmet kind of creak against the armor as it kind of looks at him and says, "You mean Desmond, the Dragonborn? He showed up maybe 4 or 5 hours ago. You don't remember that?" Oh, he did. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ask. His name's Desmond. Okay. He told me his name was Declan.
Yeah, he just likes picking on people. Don't take it personally. You're not the only one.
Oh, I guess if I'm not the only one.
Yeah, it's just kind of his thing, so.
Oh, okay. Oh, got it. Check. A-okay. Well, madam, have a safe evening, and you can see the guard kind of light guide you. Stay safe. If you need anything, just let us know, all right?
Alrighty, will do.
Kind of turns around, and the other guard, the older guard, kind of pushes him. Says, "Do you what's wrong with your tongue? Do you just not know how to speak sometimes? He's like, sometimes they just get all twisted, and I just, and then kind of trail off as they walk
Me too,
away.
Tommen.
Poor guy. Poor guy.
So, you can see them walk away, so that means we have to cut back to Desmond. So, Desmond, you knew where the tower was, and it was easy enough for you to make your way there. You can see that as you are moving throughout the streets, people are getting ready to go to bed, doing what they need to do in order to sleep safely. Most people seemingly just trusting the guards to take care of things, but there are some groups, some merchants who are hiring mercenaries, and those mercenaries do stay up and wait throughout the night. So you can see those mercenaries getting ready for their posts, which is seems normal to you, as anytime you've stayed on the road, you've always made sure with who you were traveling with, you either stayed in shifts or stayed somewhere where nobody could find you. And you make your way from the camp to the tower. And you can see as you are walking about, there is a guard who stops you, full face-covered helmet, and says, excuse me, Master Desmond, right?
That's right.
Were you wanting to stay in the tower?
Yeah, if that's not too big of a deal, it's just... I'm really cold.
Of course, we'll make sure to put you right by a hearth. Come on, follow me. And as you follow him throughout the rest of the camp, eventually getting to the tower, the door opens up, and there's this blast of heat, almost like a furnace, that just shoots into your face, and it is amazing. It is divine. The warmth of Palor himself blesses you. And you can see that there is there's several different guards in here, currently no armor on, just playing, you can see that in this very large table, there is a very heated game of Kingdoms and Castles happening between two different guards. And there's like 4 people sitting around watching it as they're throwing down different cards and yelling out different names. There's disagreements about how the rules work and how different cards activate. And you kind of cock your head and you're like, oh, that's the thing Bianca played. And before you can even look at it anymore, the man kind of sweeps you off upstairs, and he knocks on a door to make sure nobody's in there. He opens it. He says, feel free to stay in here. There will be someone by in a couple minutes just to check on you, see if you need anything.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. So he shuts the door, and you can see that it's a small room, but it is warm. There is a hearth in the side that is currently blazing. There is a soft enough bed. You're not sleeping on wooden platforms outside. It's well insulated. No windows, so you're maybe a little claustrophobic. But I mean, you're feeling pretty good in here.
Very good.
So a few minutes pass.
Can I see Kyo? He was talking. Sorry.
You said what now?
Oh, I was just gonna ask if I could see what Keothi was talking about with like the interior skeletal kind of thing that was keeping the building together.
Yeah, so you can
I could, notice it.
Yeah, as you're sort of looking around, you do know what Keothi pointed out, and you can see that almost like veins on your skin, where it's like when the light is shining directly on it, you can peer through it. You can see that closer towards the hearth, as the light is where it's brightest at, reflecting off of the stone, you can see these veins of this very almost sparkly gray material that almost blends into the stone, but there's just a little sparkle in these veins that sort of branch off very organically, interconnecting and then diverting, almost like rivers, that constantly shoot off and come back together. So,
Okay.
looking at that, eventually you do hear a knock on your door. Hello? Is there a
I
Master
will go.
Master Desmond in here? So you go open the door.
Open it and peek through. And then I'll open it all the way. Yes, I am Master Desmond.
And as you open the door, the woman who is she has very long, almost like platinum brown hair, darker skin, these pale blue eyes, wearing traditional like warm servant's attire. She is holding a tray in her hand that has just like what looks to be like a porcelain goblet with a couple of cups and some towels. And as soon as she sees you, her eyes shoot wide open and she drops the tray. And she just stares at you in disbelief and she says, Suni? Suni, is that you? I thought that... And you can see that she like moves towards you and wraps her arms around you and squeezes you very tight. And she says, I thought you were gone, Suni. I thought you were gone. And as she hugs you...
I'm sorry.
And squeezes, and you begin to stutter and stammer about what the heck is going on, that is where we're going to go ahead and take our break. So...
Ouch, you ow. Confused identity. Shakespeare playtime.
My curiosity is piqued.
Well, there we go. There's that.
Now understand. I really thought it was going to be a no big deal. I just went to the tower. That's why I didn't say anything. But now I understand that something is going to. So.
Yeah. So there's that. So thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry for all the technical issues earlier. Hopefully, everything is fine now. At least I hope so. I'm going to say that. It's going to break when I go to transition. But thank you so much for watching. If you're liking, leave a follow. And we'll be back in about 5. All right. See you then. Farewell. Bye. And woo, hello. Hey, look, the stream didn't freeze. Isn't that crazy? Pretty crazy to me. Alrighty, so welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Roll with Advantage 5e. My name is Joe. I'm your Dungeon Master. It's great to have everybody back. As with every session, customary to Salamander Coast, drop those snacks in the chat. Love to hear what you guys are snacking on. Not that I can eat them during the game, because that air today. Oh, okay. But I can't eat kettle-cooked chips because it would be terrible. It would be the worst ASMR during a D&D stream ever. And that's probably saying something vibing like a plant. Oh, that's good. Okay, so I think I got an edible cookie dough and a tall glass of water. Rigatoni meat sauce.
Oh my gosh.
Chips and pretzels. What's up?
Edible cookie dough is bomb, though.
That is.
Kayla thought I had the edible cookie dough and she's about to attack me out here.
She's like, dude, I'm a plant right now. I need that.
You can't tempt me. Oh, man. That's why we never have chocolate in our house. Okay, so I think with that, we should dive back into our session here. So let's go ahead and... just because it's so much fun, let's roll that intro and let's get into it. Alrighty,
Oh yeah,
and
Connor, sorry I
we
opened
are
that
back.
bag when you were teaching yesterday.
Oh, that's rough. So we are back,
Wow.
everybody. Welcome. So let's go ahead and dive back in. So picking up right where we left off, the party had made their way from Summer's Rest through the temple at the basin, a place where they'd been many a time, but now heading further south than any of them had been in their adventures so far. So in the small outpost, camping outpost with one guard tower to the north, and heavily patrolled guards, the party feels rather safe here. They end up being escorted to their area where they are to camp at. They meet a charming halfling and dwarf family and a man by the name of Chine, a bard of a kind, who tells the party of a small village, or at least area, that once every 10 years has this day of summer in the middle of winter. So, intrigued by, quarterlings maybe, intrigued by the prospect of warm weather in the biting cold of the late months of December, the party says, heck yeah, we'll be there. Or at least, yes, that sounds very interesting. So, the party has that mental note. Keothi, their Goliath companion, at least for the time being, also pointed out something strange. You would know that Goliaths rarely, if ever, leave their home. And she pointed out how this tower, posted at the north end of this outpost, how it was Goliath made by masons of her home. And you are told of this, and she informed you that because of how long it takes to make these things, this person had to have been there for quite some time. So there might be someone, or there might be a place nearby where they had stayed, something that she could investigate. And by that extension, all of you, as there might be something there for all of you as well, not just her. Goliaths are known to keep many things, not just tools and knowledge. So, with that information, all of you have the set schedule that tomorrow when you wake up, before you decide to leave here, you'll be heading, well, searching using this place as a sort of base of operation before you head off into the forest, looking for whatever this abode, this house, this cottage, whatever it may be, looking to find it. So, all of you head off to bed, ready, and some of you more excited than others to head off into the forest and look for these, whatever it may be. But there's one person who has quite the eventful night, especially for just starting it. Desmond, you're escorted, at least partially, towards the tower at the north end of the outpost. You're escorted up to a small room on the second floor, something that is quaint and warm, something that you really, really want in this moment. There is a handmaid who ends up coming to your door, knocking on it with your supplies, what you would be camping with, or what you would be staying in here with, and as soon as the door opens, the younger woman, human, maybe in her mid to late 20s at the most, drops the tray that she's holding. The porcelain pots and cups crack and shatter on the ground as she looks at you with these large eyes that seem almost on the verge of tears as she says, Suni, I thought you were gone. And she rushes in front of you and hugs you oh so tightly. And I'll go ahead and show you this mystery woman now. This be her.
Some good art. I like that design.
So she rushes up into your arms and hugs you, and she says, Suni, where have you been? As she pulls away, and she can see that she's broken the pots, and there's a guard who yells up the stairs, is everything all right up there? Yes. Sorry, everything's fine. I tripped. And she kind of picks up the pieces of porcelain, sets them on a tray, and moves into the room and sets the tray on there. Very much like she knows you very well. And says, Suni, where have you been? I haven't seen you in years. What's happening? Where have you been?
I'm gonna make sure the door gets closed before anything else. I'm sorry. You say, who are you?
You don't remember me?
Sorry.
It's me. It's Anna. You used to call me Anna Banana? You don't remember?
Do I remember? Does that spark anything for me?
Not at all. Not in the slightest. You stayed with my parents for 3 or 4 months. You were looking for something, but you never. You said you couldn't say. But I know that it's you, Suni. I know. I mean, it looks like you've lost a little weight, and you were always really, really bad at eating, but I know it's you. I can tell. No one else has scales like yours.
I'm sorry. I'm just a little lost for what to know or say. I'm sorry, this is a lot to take in right now. Sit down on the bed and kind of just freak out inside for a little bit.
I didn't mean to overwhelm you. I thought you would remember. That's all.
It's not your fault. And you're not the only one you know? If I'm who you say I am, I don't know the name. I don't know Suni. I don't know Anna. I don't know anything about looking for anything. I'm sorry.
You're telling the truth. How do you...
I wish I wasn't.
And she kind of sits down on the bed next to you. How do you not remember? Suni, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I've embarrassed myself so much. Obviously you're not Suni. I'm so sorry, Master Desmond. That was your name, Master Desmond. Please I'll go get you some more.
Before you go, does the name Desmond O'Malley mean anything to you?
Yeah. So long ago. There was an O'Malley you were working with. He never came over often, but
did he have something to do with what Suni was looking for?
I don't know. You wouldn't tell me. I asked you every day. You would be gone all day. And partway into the night, I would stay up waiting for you. Because I wanted you to tell me all about your adventures and your escapades and what you had done. And you could never tell me.
When was the last time you saw Suni?
It's maybe... I think 12 years ago was the last time I saw him. I was 11. Suni said he finally found what he was looking for. And that if he did his job right, he would be back. And him and I would go to the Gemstone Archipelago and he would get me all the bananas I could ever want. But Suni never came back. And I guess he's not here now. Like I said, I'm sorry for putting this burden on you. I didn't mean to. Like I said, I'll go get your water and I'll be right back. She kind of stands up and wipes her eyes and walks out of the room.
I am just kind of frozen for the moment. My head is swirling.
Mm-hmm. As you wait there for a few more moments, there's a different handmaiden who returns. Lighter, more porcelain skin, shorter hair, almost like a pixie cut. And she says, "Are you Master Desmond?"
I think so.
Anna was called away for some reason. But here is your water and towels. If you need anything, feel free to come downstairs and find me, and I'll be more than happy to get it for you.
Will Anna be back?
I don't know. Quite possibly. I just don't know. Like I said, if you need anything, just feel free to ask. She smiles and turns away and shuts the door behind her.
Thank you.
So,
what
Desmond.
is the heartbeat on my ring? What rate is it going at?
It's normal. Doof, 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 doof. No change.
I don't think I'm going to be able to get any sleep tonight.
Okay. So, we can say that for flavor, you don't find sleep very well. You're tossing and turning the entire night, barely sleeping at all, but I'm not a cruel person, so I'm not going to make you incur a point of exhaustion unless you want that punishment.
I mean, I wouldn't not take it because that's fair. I don't think he is sleeping. So if that's what you want to give him, that's okay. But if not, I also will take being, Desmond's a fighter. So, well, he's a rogue, but he's a fighter.
Okay. All right.
If you want to give it to him,
wait. Let's do this. Make a Constitution saving throw. We'll see what happens there. Okay. All right. No point of exhaustion for you.
Okay.
Alrighty. So, you are tossing and turning, but you do find some amount of rest. Even though it isn't sleep, you do find rest. You manage to cool your mind at least a little bit. Upon sunrise, waking up in the morning, it's not the sunlight that wakes you up. It's the heat that begins to generate in this tower. Seemingly from whatever energy the sun is giving off, well, it is reverberating through these halls, and you actually even begin to work up a little bit of a sweat being in here, as the hearth in your room is still burning. But with that, you wake up and Anna has not returned.
I'm not gonna go looking into rooms, but I just want to walk around the tower in the places that I'm allowed to walk around and see if I can spot her.
Okay, make an investigation check. Okay. So, you're pretty much freely able to walk wherever you want as long as there's not somebody in there. And most of those are indicated with different colored placards that are hanging on the doors. Green for if there is no one in there, and red for if there is someone in there. So you begin looking around, and you can see that on the base floor, there's a staircase that heads down into a small storeroom that has different dried meats and wine and some fresh vegetables and fruit. But as you're looking around, peeking through different stocks and stores, you can see that tucked behind a small collection of barrels is Anna. She's just sort of, knees up to her chest, fallen over her head on her knees, sleeping. Seems like she just fell asleep right there. And you can see in her hand is a small silver chain. And on that chain is what looks to be a small scale.
Does it look like one of mine?
Bronze, yeah.
I'm just gonna softly walk up and I'm gonna softly say her name, and then I'll slump down and sit next to her.
She kind of wakes up, her eyes blink awake. She shakes her head and she says, and sort of tries to covertly hide the necklace in her apron. She says, "Sorry, Master Desmond, I hope you didn't come down here looking just for me."
Oh, that's all right. Just taking a morning walk. I'm gonna try to smile as best as a man with a scaly snout can. A gentle smile.
It is you. I'd recognize that almost a smile anywhere.
You know, I never really, in the past couple of months since I've been here, I've not really wondered what it was and where I was and who I was before, but I really wanted to know. I think it scared me too much. But if I am who you say I am, I want you to know that I'm sorry. I'm sorry that Suni never came back, and I'm sorry that he ran away, and I'm sorry that he doesn't remember anything. Not a single thing. Like I said, it's not just you. And I just kind of one day woke up and not a goddamn thing in my brain, you know? Except for a name. I kind of just went with it.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check, Desmond. Oh wow, 0.
Not very good.
That's a good modifier you got there. She kind of looks up at you, and you can see for a moment, you can see her head begin to tilt, as if she just can't look you in the eye, and she locks back in. Exhales. I mean, I guess in a weird way, you did come back. She smiles. She places a hand on your hand, squeezes it. Just a little later, and in a really, really different place than I ever thought you would come back to.
And the world works in mysterious ways.
I guess you're right about that.
Heard somebody say that once.
Sounds like they're
so
pretty
where
wise.
was it? I'm just... yeah. Like I said, I've always kind of pushed away from... There's always been, a part of me inside. And by always, I mean like a couple of months. But it is, wanted to know, but I figured that, the bigger part of me was just really scared of it. But I guess there's no avoiding it, sometime or other.
Yeah.
Where were you living?
It was a small village outside of Rivers Pass. It was near the mountains. You would always head south every single day, looking for something.
I wish I knew what that something was.
Well, maybe you should have told me all those years ago, and I could have told you now.
I can't argue with that.
I guess not.
How long will you be here for?
Until I can make enough money to go to Port Alexei and have enough money there to buy at least passage on a ship to Ferdalka. I want to try and get as far away from here as I can. I never stopped looking for you. I would wait at that window every single day, looking out the path you would always take. After a couple of months, I would go out looking for you. Eventually, I decided I wanted to leave home and I wanted to try and find you. I went all up and down those mountain paths. Then I left home. I went to Belka. I went to Wild's Edge. I went to Giant's Bridge. I went everywhere. And you were nowhere. And so
Sorry that he or I did that to you.
It's not your fault. I was just a silly kid. So my plan originally was just to leave. To make money and to go. Get as far away from home as possible. But now I don't know. Now I feel like I should go back home. I haven't heard from my parents in years. I don't know. The answer was easy. When you
What
were
are your
still gone.
What is your parents' name?
My mom is Guinevere. And my dad is Alrin.
And neither of those spark any memory either.
Mm-mm.
How much money does it take for you to, I mean, if you were still wanting to leave, how much does it take for you to get this passage on this ship?
In all honesty, I've been not making enough to get ahead, so about the same amount is when I started. So
How much is that?
150, maybe 200 gold.
I don't know if you're still wanting to leave or if I feel like I still don't know if I want to know everything, but I think I owe it to you and to Suni, whoever the hell he is, to maybe try. And I'm going to reach into my pouch and I'm going to take out 20 gold and give it to her.
Mhm.
I know this isn't a lot, but maybe it'll help you with something. If you choose to leave, you can use it. If you need to travel back home, you can use it. It's a start anyway. I know it's not a whole lot. And I don't know anything about Verdalka. In fact, I don't know anything about anything, but if you're going to be here for a while, maybe I'll try to keep in contact with you, if that's all right. I can't help but, all night I couldn't shake what you had said, and I wasn't expecting this at all, but maybe you're the key to all of this, you know? I want to remember for your sake, not even for my own. But I can't promise that I ever will.
I don't know what to say. Thank you. But the last time you said you would do something for me, it never happened. So, Suni or Desmond or whatever you want to call yourself, I appreciate the gesture, but I really, really don't think that I can take another heartbreak like that. So thank you, and I'm glad I at least have some type of closure. I don't know what you want me to say. I don't hate you. I don't hold anything against you, but I can't just forget just because of some nice words and a good gesture.
I'm not asking you to. I mean, I guess I've done enough forgetting for the both of us. I mean, if you did hate me, I guess I couldn't blame you, or if you hate Suni, I mean, I don't even know if I'm the same person. I mean, maybe I'm nothing like him. Maybe I'm everything like him, I don't know.
You're kind of like him. The smile, the jokes. The only difference is Suni was... he was really soft-spoken. And he could warm a room whenever he walked into it. He also he would do magic tricks sometimes.
And he always knew how to make me laugh. And so I guess in that capacity, at least, you kind of fit the bill. I overslept. I need to get back to my work, but... And she kind of stands up. Soon... Desmond? Do whatever you think is right. Don't do it just for me. I hope you find what you're missing and whatever you're looking for. Bye, Desmond. And she slowly begins to walk around the barrels in the storeroom. And you can hear her footsteps fade away as she walks up the stairs, leaving you sitting in the storeroom underneath this tower, around these barrels. Just sitting. So, Desmond...
Did she take the gold, or did she give it back to me?
She would have tried to have set it down, like left it sitting down next to her.
Can I have, when she was walking away, tried to sleight of hand slip it back into her bag or pocket or whatever?
Make a sleight of hand check. We'll say with advantage. Because she's very, very, very distracted. Okay. Yeah, you do. Doesn't even notice. Not a tick. Not at all. So, she walks away. She has the 20 gold. Doesn't know it. And Desmond, just so I know, about how long do you stay down there?
A solid 10 minutes.
Okay. All right.
Before I can even think about moving.
Okay. So with that, we'll go ahead and jump back to the party, who has been having a much better morning. Bianca, you're able to finish your watch, and the rest of the party wakes up fresh and clear, and you can see that the halfling woman, Turi, she's already making some bacon and eggs as the smell just kind of fills the morning air. And as all of you begin to wake up, putting on your fur cloaks and warm winter clothing, she sees all of you emerge and she says, sweeties, would you like any bacon and eggs? Like I said, making enough for 12 here, so if you'd like any, please help yourself. Don't feel like you have to.
Fuck, yes!
Oh, well, it's a bit of a mouth. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. So
She'll ignore the comment and seek out the bacon and eggs.
Yes, easy enough. Slap some bacon and eggs onto your plate, and it's good. You dig into it. It's crispy bacon, pan-fried eggs in bacon grease. It's
that's
the
way.
It is the way. It is the way, and it's good as hell. So right. You chew away, and you begin to wait around in the morning. Desmond has still not returned yet. It's been maybe an hour after all of you had woken up and hasn't come back yet from the tower. So in that around hour and a half, is anybody doing anything in particular?
Is Keothi with us?
Yeah, she is. She would have been one of the early risers, kind of like going over to the edge of the forest, like looking in, jotting down things in a journal.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask her a question at some point. But Bianca, go ahead. You had a thing.
Oh, I mean, not really. I was just going to say that she also partakes in the eggs and bacon, and she will continue to read some of the Blood Hunter book, even, well, in her tent. She's just not going to out in the open be reading that book.
The vile book that...
Yeah.
It's like made of,
Casual read on a Sunday morning,
it's made of like human flesh and like bound blood. And,
So she'll like finish it up and be like, if you need me, I'm just gonna be a second, and then she's just gonna go in and do a couple more. I mean, it won't be like a long time, so she probably can't deep dive into it, but like get started on the next section or something like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, so you get started a little bit. Not really enough to draw any conclusions, but you get started, which is good.
Yeah.
Okay. So, with that, Cecily, you're freely able to head up to Keothi as she is just looking out.
All right, I'm just gonna still be munching.
Okay.
And yeah, I got a question.
Hello. Yes, Cecily. What is your question?
Why'd that dude call you a Sade? Second question. What is that?
Well, so, well, and you can see her thinking very hard. I'm trying to think of the way to put it in the least amount of words. I have noticed that you, of all people, are the one who tends to check out first when I am explaining things. And I do not mean that as a condescension. I hope you know. I am holding your feelings up first.
Well, you don't have to do that.
So,
okay. Well, yeah, go ahead.
A sage. In my home, there are 3 different clans. One clan is warriors. They learn how to fight, and they learn how to take life in an honorable way. Then there are the shamans. They learn about magics that are druidic, arcane, or divine in any sense, learning how to bend and shape it in whatever way they need be. Then there are the sages. We are historians and builders, creators, craftsmen. We spend our lives learning how to make things with our hands. Sometimes we use magic, sometimes we do not. In my case, I am different. Most Goliaths, in fact, almost all Goliaths, are without hair of any kind. No eyebrows, no hair, no beard, no anything. But as you can see, as she kind of furrows her brow and scratches her head, I am different.
Yeah, you got a mop.
A mop? No, this is hair.
No, yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
hair.
it
yeah,
is.
No, go on.
It is a metaphor. I see now. That is interesting.
One metaphor. Yeah, one of those.
Then you also have a mop.
Yeah.
I will have to remember.
Mine's kind of a rag, but yeah.
There are so many different things to call hair. In my home, we have no need for other names other than hair, as there is typically only one person at a time who has any. Anyway, I'm sorry to get deviated so quickly. Those
who are born with hair are seen as special. Being so different in our clans is not a bad thing. It means that for some reason the Mother of Mountains has picked you, above all else, to do something. When that is of the warriors, of the Shaika clans, that means they will be a great general, and they will lead our people to a great victory against what lurks in the mountains. If it is a Kotho Olavai, it means that they will master many magics and be able to protect the Hearthstone from many great wonders and dangers. If it is a scribe, well, it's not as fancy, but it means we are a historian. We go out into the world and we find history, either as it's being made or history that is not in our libraries. We find that it is our duty to the world to take all of history and all knowledge that is available and keep it safe and make sure that it cannot be tampered with. As when people other than us have access to history, they tend to erase the parts they do not like. So it is our duty to make sure we have everything, so no one can bend history to their will. So, for that young man, it seems as though me being who I am, and him being who he is, a bard of sorts, they hold great reverence for us. They come to the Hearthstone. They come to look at the stories we have. And sometimes they make small alterations for entertainment purposes, but if the story is exciting, I tend not to complain.
So you got hair, so it's your destiny to know shit? So is that it?
Well, you see, Cecily, we are born of the mountain. So, for us to be born with hair, it is no simple thing. It is not as if all babies are shaved from head to toe and see what grows back. We are meant to be born rocky and solid. And then with time, we soften and we grow. But you see, for me to be born with hair, it must mean something special is about me.
So, when your people are born looking weird, you treat them better? Because that sounds weird to me. It's not what we do here.
Yes. I can see that. There have been many that I have met on my journey who are looked down upon. We have a saying of sorts. When we are born from the mountain and from stone and from earth, sometimes there are those who are born different, not just with hair, but are maybe missing an arm or a leg. They are not born complete. But we have a word for those people, and it is a shame that it is mistranslated most times. They are referred to as Maikalar, which, for some, when they hear the translation, if they speak the old tongue, they assume it means useless. But no, it means priceless. Almost all Goliath are born the same, regardless of clan, regardless of place in the mountain, we are all similar, built the same, we can learn the same, but those people are different. They are special. And that is seen with great reverence, yes.
I'm gonna shove a couple more eggs in my face. Alright, cool. Good talk. Good stuff. I'm gonna go get more eggs.
Of course. Whenever Desmond returns, I will be ready to head into the forest.
It's probably still shivering.
You are probably right. I tried my best with that cloak, but I could not get the stitching correct. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, I think we've all worn worse. Well, at least me.
I'm sorry, Cecily. Did you say something? Sometimes I get lost in my own thoughts.
Just keep him.
If you insist.
I'll make my exit then.
Okay, all right. So you and Keothi have a fun conversation.
Yeah, that was nifty.
And you head off. And as you are just finishing that conversation, all of you can see Desmond beginning to make his way back around towards the camp. Unless, Desmond, there was anywhere where you wanted to stop before you went back to camp?
You are muted.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh.
He says, timeout.
If there wasn't anything particular, I would like to ask a guard, and I don't think this needs to be roleplayed. I just want to know what the name of this outpost is.
Okay. So easy enough as you're making your way through the through the tower. There are about 5 or 6 different guards down there, and easy enough you can ask him. And there's one half-orc woman who says, Old Spire Outpost.
Thank you very much.
Of course. All right. Make your way out, then make your way back.
And that's it.
Okay. Very cool. Alrighty. So with that, all of you can see Desmond cresting around back towards the camp, cloak wrapped heavily and very tightly around him. And it's not like Dragonborn can have bags on their eyes or under their eyes, but if they could, Desmond has some. As he begins to make his way back and around, you can see him just walking a little bit slower, not as much pep in his step. And this is something that the 3 of you definitely clock as he makes his way back. But Desmond is back.
Why, we'd assumed that you'd get much better sleep inside the building, but it appears that was not the case. Too cold in the stone building, or didn't feel easy?
No, it was really nice in there. It was just sleep just kind of eluded me, I guess.
There's some warm eggs. You can have those.
I think I'm okay, but thank you.
Just can't help some people.
Are you still up to go searching for Keothi's thing?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. I'm excited to see if we can find something.
Okay.
Alright, stop chatting and let's try to find something.
Why, I think that's a capital idea.
Okay. Alrighty. So all of you gather your supplies, anything that you want to bring with you into this jaunt into the forest. Is anybody bringing anything in particular that they feel like they should say beforehand, or?
I will bring my 2 cave mushrooms from session 2.
Hey.
I cleared out most of my inventory. That's about all I got left.
Okay.
I got that. I got a Dark One Cultist Uniform and a healing potion. And no money!
Heck yeah. Who needs money?
Roleplay donations.
Bianca will bring her usual stuff that she normally carries on her.
Okay.
Yeah, not venturing out from the norm. Obviously, I think we're leaving most of like the rations and supplies and things in the cart, but adventuring your basic stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Alrighty. So then, everybody packing their bags, you begin to make your way from the safety of the camp and in to the winter woods. The evergreen expanse, everything covered in snow and ice. Luckily, the sun has risen, so that is giving you a little bit of warmth on the back of your head and the back of your neck. But you begin to make your way into the forest. Nice. So, you are now in the wilderness. Ooh, spoopy. But no, you make your way through the very tall, towering evergreen trees. Every once in a while, disturbing the wrong tree, and you can see a flock of crows fly from them. Piles of snow begin to cascade down with any slight bit of movement to them. But you begin to make your way through, and Keothi kind of walking alongside all of you and says, "So, I do not know exactly where to go. Every one of my clan, of my family, they tend to have a different way of deciding which place is best. So your guess is honestly as good as mine, as this marking of this clan is unknown to me."
Do you think they'd be near? I guess, like, you said each clan is different, but how far would they travel away from where they were working? Normally, I guess.
Maybe not too far, but
Okay.
at least within an hour or two of a walk. I guess it just depends what season they built it in.
Right.
Walk softly and ensure that your boot fits the footprints.
Yeah, maybe we should just start scanning for any sort of hint or clue instead of starting off with not much.
But furthermore, what I mean is, if there are folks that we are looking for that are as large as you, Keothi, it would have to be in a location that would be suitable to many people your size. So we can rule out any tiny cave or small valley areas. Any areas that have only a stream wouldn't be a sufficient enough water source.
That is good things to think about.
And likely a very large clearing of land as well, which is our most useful
Yeah, and I feel like
clue.
if there were people going back and forth building this thing over the course of a month, we probably can find paths where trees and brush is not as strong, walked across and...
Very interesting.
Good thought as well, Desmond.
Yeah, how long ago was this again?
As I said to Desmond, it could have been 150, 160 years ago. Or it could be closer to 900 years ago. It is anywhere in between those two. I am
very confident of, though.
Would they have
Really
constructed?
down.
Would they have used stone from that area, or would they have hauled it?
Well, they would have had to have found large sheets of stone in order to make a tower that big. So they probably would have had to have hauled it from somewhere.
Well, then I guess we should look for rock, right? I mean, I don't know how long shit lasts, but rock lasts longer than trees.
Ah, excellent insight, Cecily. Perhaps trees have grown over where they were, but the rock will not.
Yeah. Yeah, basically that, yeah.
Well, here, I will keep track of our movements and locations to make sure that we do not get lost. I will at least try my best. If someone else could look, I could jot down the location.
Yeah, sure. Let me help.
All righty, yeah. Go ahead and get a survival check going on. We'll get this cartographer's tools
think-
checks.
Don't roll bad or we
over-
fucking die.
You wanted me to make a survival check?
Yes.
Is that what you said? Okay. I don't know if my advantage or bonus comes in with this one because I think I'm not hunting something. Okay. It's not great, but I'm a hunter, so come on. Hey!
Okay, yeah, 14.
All right?
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I think we survived.
Yeah, with Keothi's cartography skills, jotting down where you're going using landmarks, you eventually begin to make your way, and it's harder with no road, but eventually you do see where there is a slight incline going up, and there is hills. It takes you maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes to get there, but eventually you can see that the hills are starting to flatten out and turn into almost cliffs, where you kind of have to be careful with your steps and your footing. But it's getting closer and closer to what you think might be an area where sheets of stone could be made from. So I'd like everyone to go ahead and make a perception check real quick as you're getting up and over these ledges of cliff. See what you can see.
Whoops.
You said
Not bad.
Okay.
Haha. Cecily has eyes.
Okay, so and Desmond, that'll be a 14, not a 17. Yes. So Cecily, Keothi is very busy in making sure you don't get lost, but you're the only one who can see cresting over a group of trees. You can see that to your southeast, there is a cluster of trees on what seems to be a very large outcropping, and you can see making its way just past the tip of the trees what looks to be a structure of some kind made of some type of stone. You're not sure if it's the same as the tower, but you do see something.
Ah. Hey, someone that's smart, tell me what I'm pointing at. And I will point.
Okay.
I will look at where she's pointing.
With her pointing it, it's pretty easy to see. You can now see the dark gray slate that is a very stark contrast against the white of the snow-peaked evergreen trees.
So, is that something? That looks like something, right?
Sorry. Yes.
Remorath.
That looks like probably something that could have been sculpted and used.
Yeah. Well, I guess we walk there. Cool. Cecily shall begin to walk there and check it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go see what's down there.
So you begin to make your way up some more, just being able to see the whatever that structure is, And as you make your way through more trees and up more hills, eventually you can see what is, I mean, a little confusing at first. Is you are anticipating, maybe a cottage or a small building, but what you end up seeing is maybe what could be considered like a small keep of some kind. Very deep blue navy stone, very similar to what the tower was. Desmond, now that Keothi pointed it out, you can tell that there's no mortar on here, and since you're in the daylight, you can see it very clearly, that there is no mortar. And you can see that there's no gate, but there does look like there used to be an area for a gatehouse. And those of you with higher passive perceptions, it's not very hard to see, and it'd be easy to point it out, but you can see that there are these individuals standing atop, not the parapet, as most of the walls have sort of crumpled and collapsed, but you can see standing atop wooden platforms that are sort of nestled against where the wall used to be are these men and women of different races, who are wearing fur-clad leather armor, but it's odd. Every once in a while on their armor and even on some of their weapons, you can see these small chips of this almost like glowing red material. It's not like a glowing gem, but they're like glowing pieces of something, almost like a reddish orange glow. Like it's very, very hot, because you can even see whenever a snowflake lands on one, there's this as it melts away as soon as it hits some of those red chips that are spread out throughout them. And you can see everyone here has something very similar to that. And you can really only see 4 people. There's 2 on 2 different towers, or 2 different elevated platforms nestled against the walls. So you can see them, and while they don't not look friendly, they definitely don't look super friendly.
We may wish to approach with caution.
This is cool. This is cool shit. All right. Well, Keo, you would know best. Should we poke it, or what?
Well, if I am being completely honest, I don't know. I'm sorry, but it does not make any sense to me. These people are like you. They are not like me or my brothers and sisters and cousins at home. They are like you.
Well, I mean, you got hair, so supposed to know stuff, right? So I guess we should poke around.
I suppose so, yes.
Yeah, cool. Oh, I didn't tell the rest of you. She has, I think so she has hair, and that Cecily will try to explain what Keothi explained to her, and it won't go well. But basically that we should go do this because it's Keothi's, like, mountain destiny to learn things.
Mountain destiny?
Yeah, I mean, there's like a mountain mom, I think, and then she gives some some Goliath's hair, and you should probably just ask her at some point. I don't fucking know. Look, we should go in, or find a way in, or poke it with a stick, or something. As long as we're here.
That is true. We did come to find out the source of, well, this, I suppose.
Okay. Well,
I have stick poking, I guess.
Desmond, you want to poke it with a stick?
I would be honored to poke this building with a stick.
There you go. There you go. I will mage hand him a stick.
Okay, while he's poking it with a stick, can Bianca look for an entrance?
Yes. So let me go ahead and zoom out a little bit here. So it's a little hard because this is a little zoomed in. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and do something real quick. Doop, doop. Okay, there we go. And GM layer. And GM layer. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move you guys to what you are generally seeing. So I can say that there are, because it seems like a ruin, there are several holes in different parts of the walls. So put you guys there.
Oh, nice.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Oof, look at that.
I like whenever you give us a hex map, there's always like random goons on the left, just in case. Someone's hanging out.
Alrighty. So there we go.
Where are we
okay.
at?
So you guys would be a little bit further off down here, in this very, very bottom corner. So I'll go ahead and throw your minis down right there. So
Cool.
Desmond. Oh shoot. I need to change your guys' tokens. Obviously not right now, but definitely something to do here in the near future.
Here we are. Yeah, it's just now.
Okay. And then Keothi would be right behind all of you off of the map.
She's too big to fit on the map.
So, as all of you guys look out, like I said, you can see that right here and right here, there are areas where you could traverse through broken rock and stone to get in. But there's a chance that it could cause quite a bit of noise.
Looking through it, what do we see?
So is somebody getting close enough to see?
Bianca will.
Okay, so Bianca, I'd like you to make a stealth check for me.
All right.
I'll go as well. I've got good
Well,
perception. Oh, go ahead.
Hey, that's a good roll.
Nice.
It's a good roll.
Okay, alrighty. So Bianca, and then was it just Bianca or Desmond? I know you said you were going to go up there, and then Ashima, you said you would go with her.
Yeah, I'll make an attempt.
Oh, if they're going, I won't.
Okay. So
I'll stay back with Cecily and Keothi.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna happen.
Okay.
No.
So you do.
Can I? Go ahead.
You do get up there, and you can see that there are a group of individuals who are sitting around that campfire on the inside there. You can see one on each one of the four stumps. And you can see all of them, like I said, they're all different shapes and sizes, small folk, tall folk. half-orc, human, it doesn't matter. They are all a mix and collection, but all of them have leather armor, fur-lined weapons that have these small glowing blips of what look almost, as you're getting closer, you can see that they're almost like chitinous scaling, very similar to the Truthix that you ran into earlier in your journeys in Summer's Rest. And as you begin to approach Bianca and Ashima, Bianca, you make quite good progress. I mean, you are able to dodge out of the ways of the trees, able to move around and not knock into any of the evergreen trees to knock the snow off. But Ashima, you are just not lucky enough. As you are making your way through, you're not sure if it's your shoulder that brushed it or if those crows just decided to fly away at just that moment. But as you go and move past one set of trees, there is a flock of crows that they flutter and fly away, and there is a large mound of snow that falls off one of the evergreens and falls down right next to the two of you, and you can see both of the individuals standing on this far off to the left platform right here. They take notice, and each one of them holding up what look to be like light crossbows. They both make their way over here towards where they can see at least you, Ashima. Bianca tucking away maybe at like right around this corner here. They cannot see you yet, but you can see these two. Ashima, they hold their crossbows up at you and they say, "What are you doing here?"
Ashima will put his hands up and say, "Please, I mean no harm. I just saw these ruins and was curious. I'm just a traveler. I mean no harm."
I understand that you do not necessarily mean harm, but I would like you to make a deception check.
Yeah. Because I didn't tell the full truth.
Yeah. Okay. You can see there are other, you can hear other voices from around the broken stone wall saying, "What's going on? What's happening? What, is someone there?" "Yeah, it's just a traveler." "Listen, I'm going to give you one opportunity. You turn around and you go back to wherever you came from and you tell no one that we are here. If I see you again, I will not hesitate."
Well understood, friend. I'm unarmed. I'll simply follow my footprints back.
Go.
I'm going.
Alrighty. So Ashima?
I'll kind of trudge along till I'm out of sight. Maybe over by Keothi or something. Like off map.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Bianca, that leaves you. What are you doing? You're close. You're right there.
Can I, sneak then closer to those two guards who just talked to Ashima and see if I can overhear their conversation anymore?
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I get right. I don't know if I can move my. Oh yeah, I can. I'd like to get at least there. Maybe just somehow an earshot.
Okay, for sure. All right, let's see. So they're on high alert now, so they're going to make a couple of perception checks. That's at 9. Yeah. That is it. Okay. So they seem to go back. This one goes back to this corner here, and this one goes back here, keeping an eye out in this direction. And there's a small moment where you think they might have noticed you as you were passing through right in this this gap right here. But luckily, you make your way over, and you are not seen, and you are not heard. So, you can see and you can hear as you are sitting like almost right underneath where that overhang is, nestled in between the tree and the wall. You can hear their conversation. The one man who was talking to Ashima, he carries most of it. He says, "Do you suppose that was the right decision?" "I do not know. They could have been, you know." And the woman who is up there with him says, "They could have been, but I do not think so. They did not look like... They were definitely not crystal companions, that is for sure. And I didn't see any wolves, so you know they're not part of the pack. He looked harmless enough. And probably just a traveler who decided he wanted to try and be an adventurer, looking for lost ruins. You know the type." "You're right. Do you think we should send a raven to Daimar? Let him know. Maybe have him talk with the captain at Old Spire Outpost, make sure that no more travelers are coming this far out into the forest?" No, that's not very fun. I say the next one we see, we kill them. And say we had to. That should send the right message to the captain. You're right. I like the way you think. And the two of them, the conversation trails off from there. And doesn't seem to be talking anymore.
Right, she's going to sneak back to the group.
Okay. Alright, they're going to make 2 more perception checks. 7. Wow, okay. Ryan, your dice are terrible. Okay. So
Ryan, your dice are great.
So, Bianca, you're able to make your way back, and it seems like they do not notice you.
Hey. So there's someone named Daimar who I guess they can have him talk to the captain at the Old Spire Outpost. There's also this group called Crystal Companions and the Wolf Pack, or they didn't see wolves, so they're not part of the pack. They're also very much on high. They're like protecting something because they said the next traveler that they see, they'll kill on sight and just tell the captain that they had to.
So, sounds like they're bad fuckers.
They're sketchy
About
for
all I could put
sure.
together.
I mean, I wish I knew what they were. I don't know.
Kyo, do you know anything about a Daimar?
No, I do not. It is not even a name of the clans of any of them. It is not a name in any histories at all. I do not know, and I do not like that they are here. I do not like it.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, kind of just sounds like they're squatters with weapons. But they got a captain, so I don't know, who fucking knows?
And the old Spire Outpost
Do you want us to have them?
knows about them.
I would never, ever incite violence or wish death upon someone. Maybe we can talk to them and ask them to leave, or convince them somehow to leave, because it is important to my people. They should respect that.
I don't think they're going to talk to anyone anymore.
Yeah, I think we got off easy.
I think it's either we leave it be or we kick their asses out.
Or we
Or
talk to the captain at Old Spire and maybe they can give us some answers. I think they are probably the only person that know who they are, this group of people.
yeah, I mean, you know me and guards, but that might be the thing to do. Guess.
I mean, are we sure this captain is affiliated with the guards, or are they just their captain who is at the old?
Oh, I guess I don't know. They did
Sure,
say they could send a raven to Daimar and have him talk to the captain at Old Spire. That's. Oh no, they did say they'd send a message
So
to
it's
the
probably
captain.
the
Though. Like they'd send like a message of if they had to shoot a traveler, like a warning to the captain.
I think the first question, assuming we've all regrouped at this point, we should ask ourselves is how involved in this affair do we want to become?
Yeah.
I would like to say you all came here on my behalf. And if any of you are uncomfortable by this or you think it is best to move on, you have my full support. I'm sure there will be other ruins along our journey that will not be full of people like them.
I just wish I knew what they were, or who they were, or what they were doing here.
Alrighty. We can go back. We can poke around a little bit. Figure out who the Daimar person is. Figure out what the captain knows. And then, I don't know. Depends on what we figure out.
At that point, we can decide what we'd like to do. I don't
poke around back at Old Spire or poke around here.
Oh, poke around back to the old place. Yeah,
I would agree with Cecily. That seems far safer, and once we have more information, we can make a better decision how to approach this. I'm sure they won't be leaving it anytime soon. They seem to have a fairly good operation here.
How many people were up there? I could only see the two, but
I didn't see much either.
There
Maybe
were
4 or
people
5
around the fire. Yeah. I didn't actually count. I was more focused on hiding.
Yes, my count's only based on the voices I heard.
because I mean we eat them up and let them go, but
that would perhaps cause just as much chaos as anything else.
I'm just nervous because they felt like if they killed someone, innocent or not, that they would not have any repercussions for it.
That frightens me as well.
there's a lot of people in the world.
So it's like 5 gold to spend the night at the place, right?
At 1 gold if we stay a bit farther away.
Well, I was just thinking. I mean, okay, if we're gonna do this, it kind of seems like asking around back at the old Spire place might get a little fucky. I mean, if there are bad people there, we don't want them catching on to us, right? So, we just hand me some gold. I can go in, all disguised and stuff. I'll do the Hilde Dilde thing, but I won't pick something stupid this time. And then, whatever I figure out, if shit gets bad, I can just run away and turn back, and then they won't ever know.
Works
I-
for me.
I'm not comfortable sending you in alone, but I'm not uncomfortable with the plan.
Right.
Well, Desmond's pretty sneaky. He can kind of just stay behind me.
No, it's true. I mean, I don't really know how much I want to stick around the old Spire, but if it's what we need to do, it's what we need to do.
And it might be nothing or something that we just can't touch right now, kind of like the cult. But
Yeah.
I
Perhaps
don't
not.
know.
Perhaps you may find it's not unrelated. Although I do doubt that.
Yeah, they didn't seem. Joe, did they seem reminiscent of the cult at all?
No. I mean, nothing. The fact they're out in the daylight definitely helps in that assumption.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not getting cult. I mean, at least the cult we're all talking about vibes. Could be a different cult, but
Yeah. But typically cults are creepy. These people are just assholes.
maybe they're an asshole cult.
Asshole cult.
Never expect or corner your expectations of the cruelty of individuals, nor of zealous fundamentalists who are willing to hurt you.
I think maybe one day I'll know what you're saying. Today is
Don't
not
judge
that
a
day.
book by its cover.
Oh, yeah. No, someone told me that once.
Oh, excellent.
Which is
And
just
that.
not... I mean, you're in a library. There's like 500 fucking books. You gotta pick one. You're gonna look at the cover. Oh, fuck. Okay, whatever. Yeah, so... Let's
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and do it then. If we wanna.
Let's just go get more information. Yeah.
Yes, sounds like a plan.
So back.
There'll be some time before nightfall.
Okay, so now knowing, thankfully, with Keothi's map-making skills, you now have an easy course from here back to the old Spire. So it takes you maybe an hour and a half longer. So you probably get back there at around 10 a.m. So as you get back to Old Spire Outpost, ready to ask any questions you may have of this captain or of any of the soldiers here, trying to get to the bottom of who these people are, what relationship they have with this Daimar individual, who the pack is, who the Crystal Companions are. All of those questions will have to maybe be answered next week. So tune in. Oh, man. 'Cause that's where we're going to end it. So, if you enjoyed, for one, thank you so much for watching. Greatly appreciate you. Leave a follow if you enjoyed. If you came in partway through the VOD, the video will be uploaded to YouTube probably sometime tomorrow. And yes, so that is it. Thank you for watching once again. I hope you enjoyed. Tune in next week in order to see what they find out in Old Spire and what they decide to do with these ruins. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, or night, whatever it may be for you. All right. See you later. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good day, everyone.